inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Tape my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities. Some days I feel skinnier than all the other days. Sometimes I can't tell if my body belongs to me. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell. I wanna taste consumption. Breathe faster to waste oxygen. Hear the children sing aloud. It's music till the wick burns out. Be carefree lately, yeah. Just kicking up daisies. Got one too many quarters in my pockets. Count 'em like the four-leaf clovers in my locket. Untied laces, yeah. Just tripping on daydreams. Got dirty little lullabies playing on repeat. Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.
Heaven just knows what it was. Will I go back to the place where I belong? Everyone could break my heart, but I try my best to not fall apart. And I find it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. You'll be my pleasure. I got nothing to be scared of, because where people live, there is always love. I know the answers in my heart, So I'll try my best to not fall apart. And I find it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure? Find it hard to let go. Memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure?
Won't you take me home? Give me wings to fly. We can run away. Castle in the sky. Won't you take me home and give me wings to fly? We can be alone in the castle in the sky. We can run away and leave this world behind. Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. Castle in the sky. Castle in the sky. Won't you take me
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here on Anti-Stall Racing, and we are from the hills of Pocono here tonight with all the road coursing racing we do in these Indy cars. Tonight we take on everybody's favorite triangle. I am William Tiller. I'm going to be joined by Biggles in just a few, and we have Gerald behind the decks doing all the great producing here at Anti-Stall Racing. And Gerald, I've been out a few weeks here. What have I missed here the past couple weeks?
Oh, that's a really good question. I wasn't quite prepared for that question. Where were we last week? Let's take a quick look at that. Where were we last week? It was
Watkins Glen.
Watkins Glen. Yeah, that was a fantastic race. Always fantastic. Watkins Glen. Very, very safe race. Lots of wheel-to-wheel racing. And before that was, of course, Iowa Speedway, which was a bit safer than Texas Motor Speedway, but still, it was an oval. So if we're going by, our usual track record for ovals, then we're probably going to see at least one safety car tonight, I think.
Oh yeah, I'm sure here at this triangle. This is a tricky course for any style of race car due to the weird corners. I'm going to say weird in a good sense though, Gerald, because it kind of gives the drivers a little bit more of a trick here tonight. You have almost a slanted straight on coming off of 1 and 2 on the front stretch. That's a long straight, so these cars can really get up to speed. Then you have these wide corners that you really have to either let it go or let off in these corners right now. As we're taking a look at qualifying taking place right now, you see he's going to start on the top of this grid right here. And Gerald, this is the second to last race of the season here in the Anti-Stall IndyCar Series. And right now we have an American at the top of the points table.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin Birrell currently sits at the top after an absolutely astounding run over the past few races.
And we're taking a look at another fast racer on the track. Benet Favar is on the top of the table right now with a 41-1 right there to start off qualifying. Other drivers are trying to get him. Håkan started off really good this season. Kind of slipped a little bit as the season's come on, but very strong in these Indy cars. We see Alex Richardson up there as well. Biggles is going to be excited about that. Alex Richardson's up in the second position right now here in qualifying. Right now we're looking at a few other cars. Paulo Lopes, as you see right there, out of Portugal. I'm sure he's a little bummed that they're not going to be playing in the World Cup, but he's going to show out for them here tonight. As right now he's now he's got the pole right there. He's at the top of the grid. Ran a 40 flat. I was going to say, yeah, man, what a run!
That wasn't just a lap. That was a lap that was a tenth better than everybody else, when everybody else was still sat within a tenth of each other.
Yeah, that was a great run right there. And I believe Portugal is in the World Cup, but it's not going to be favored in, I don't think, any games they play. So Paulo is really trying to show out here tonight for his country. As right now we're going to watch Alex Richardson take another lap around. Really strong here in his first lap. And try to run another one to best that time. But as you just mentioned, Gerald, that was almost a tenth faster than everybody else on the racetrack. So it's going to take a very, very hot lap to knock off Paulo off the top of the table right now. As you see, Alex is going to pull up right there at the start-finish line, knowing he doesn't have the speed to better that one lap time that he had. As we're taking a look right now at Kane Ledger right here on the racetrack. And you see he's going a little slow right now, Gerald, as you see other drivers here on the racetrack. Jesper Eriksson right now. He's a rookie in this series. We're going to see what he lays down here right now. And that 24 Machine Racing out of Sweden right there. So a Swede in the race. A few new drivers, Gerald, in the mix so far.
Yeah, so of course, as seasons go on with Andy Stall, you do lose a few races occasionally, maybe due to other commitments elsewhere. And stuff like that. So we typically, by midway through the season, we start putting discounts on any empty seats. And by the last couple of the races, they are usually... Oh, that was Jesper Eriksson losing the rear there. Beautiful livery I made, though.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the season, we generally have some super cheap seats. So
super cheap seats.
Yeah, like mega cheap seats. Well, look at the haze and the fog out on this track.
Yep, you are in the hills of Pocono, Pennsylvania here at this track. So it's a very scenic race course, but a frustrating race course for a lot of these drivers. Whether you're racing here in these Indy cars, whether you're racing in stock cars, or trucks, whatever series you're trying to race at here at Pocono, it is definitely a tricky course. But I am ready to welcome my co-host for the evening, Biggles. Biggles, you are now up in the booth with us here at this beautiful race course of Pocono. As we take a look at qualifying, you missed Paulo Lopes, laid down a 40 flat, a tenth faster than the rest of the grid. As we wait for Biggles to get settled up here in the booth, we're taking a look at some more qualifying runs right now as Robin Dumel is right there in the third spot. He's going to try to best his time there on the course. Doesn't look like he's going to have enough speed to do so. He's going to knock Alex Richardson down the grid just a little bit right there. But as we were mentioning, it's going to take a very, very fast lap. And you see Robin's run right now. He's going to come around 3 and 4. See if he has enough speed to do so. Doesn't look like it based on our projections. Looks like he's just going to qualify third here tonight. Across this line. Yep, still going to lock in that third position. Always good to get a few more laps in right there. That's actually better than what his first run was, but still going to lock in that third spot. So taking a look at some more drivers here on the track. You see Kevin Stamm right there at the bottom of your screen. You see Frankie right there as well. You see Mateo right there as well. Some drivers are trying to best their times here on the course. Watching Kevin Stamm take his run right now in that 01 machine. And we see what he can do right now. Looks like he's pulling up as well. Gerald, it looks like a few of these drivers are just conceding to the fact that Paulo laid down a very, very fast lap at the top of the grid.
Yeah, I might sound corrected on this when I say it, but I do believe these guys, I think I've already been corrected, but I think these guys do only have 4 laps to set a lap. I didn't think it was the whole 15 minutes that they get. because many of these guys are now out with only 4 laps on the table.
Looks like Mateo's going to pull up as well. See if anybody else wants to try to knock off Paulo off the top of the grid. It doesn't seem like it at the moment. We'll see if any other driver gets an idea. But it looks like that's going to lock us in for the grid there, Gerald. It looks like we're ready to go green flag racing here in race number 9 of the Anti-Style Racing IndyCar Series. We got one more race left after this, and we'll see if anybody else wants to take the track here in this qualifying session. As Cheryl just mentioned, there's a few more minutes left, but it looks like that might be it for qualifying.
That is it for qualifying, it appears. G'day.
There he
And
is. There's
it
my
looks
co-host
like
for the evening, Mr. Biggles.
Yes, hello everybody. The Portuguese driver on the top, defending against the 2 French drivers, of course. It should be second and third. Good to see that there is Mr. Kane Ledger in that, Australian, another Aussie. That's what we like to see. So come on, Kane, see if you can do something about it. And I think there's another, we're seeing Jasper Eriksson there and Oscar. We're seeing some new names there between the 2 Swede drivers, just to confirm or not.
Yeah, that's right. We've had a couple join for the last couple of races because, as I was explaining earlier, we have huge discounts on the seats by the end of the season. Just to try and scrape in that last little bit of prize money for whoever wins the season.
It was my huge discount to buy the track that I had to get before. This is one of the ones I didn't have actually in my collection. Believe it or not, I was surprised. I thought I had it practically. Well, I don't have all the oval tracks. That's the thing, because obviously as a driver, yes, they're great, but as a spectator, there's not much to see. It's just a big round oval. There's not a lot of eye candy per se. But yeah, once again, how difficult is this track too, mind you, as drivers, compared to many of the other ovals?
This is probably one of the most difficult ovals you're going to face. Because in my sense, you go short track racing in smaller tracks like that. But as far as a full-size oval track, this is one of the most difficult courses you're going to see. I was talking to Gerald earlier about this track. You have almost a slanted straight there on the back. You have a full-on straight on the front, so that's your straightaway on the front side of the track. But then these corners, you have a very narrow 1-2 right there. Almost, it's everybody's favorite triangle, let's say. So on 1 and 2, it's a very narrow, wide corner. You go on that slanted straight down the back. It's more of a wide going around 2 and 3 right there. Down another slanted straight down into 3 and 4 right there. So you almost lose count of how many corners there are here at Pocono. But it's a very difficult course. As we're going to watch Eric come on to these corners right here, you almost have to shift down. You have to brake just a little bit. Keep that thing going around the corner. And then you have to know right here, you can't build it all the way up because then you have to slow down once again here on these last couple of corners. So it's a very difficult oval.
Just checking out. Thank you very much. I mean, basically, it's like a musical triangle, isn't it? You used to play at school. That's what the track map looks like. Kevin Berrell was out there for a lap or so, but he's hasn't set a time yet. So I'm just wondering what's happened with our championship leader.
Yeah, he's only done 1 lap so far, so he has got 3 more laps to do. I wonder if he's not happy with the car, went back in to tweak a few things, and then he's going to head back out afterwards.
You'd want to hope he gets something out there because it's going to be difficult. Well, probably not for that man, is it? To start at the back of the field and claw your way through.
Yeah, I've heard he's had quite the run here the past couple weeks, and I am proud to be an American, as an American's leading the points table here going into the second to last race of the season. Now, Biggles, can he afford to maybe, as Gerald was just saying, maybe not like his car here tonight, maybe not run as strong as he has the past couple weeks and still basically wrap up the championship next week? Or does he really have to have a strong run here tonight to kind of cruise into that championship race?
That's one for our race director about that. I'm pretty sure that he could, he's going to want to drive the pants off that car anyway, regardless, even if he's not 100% happy with the setup, because he's going to want to secure the much amount of points you possibly can and have less stress going into the next round. If, of course, if he doesn't wrap it up here. We'll just check with Gerald actually on that.
Yeah,
one,
I'm just going to do a
little
little bit of maths.
Good luck, ladies, from Kevin out there. Where is Kevin? He's not driving today. Oh, yes, he is. Driving and texting at the same time. Sorry, go ahead.
So, Hakon Grebstad is currently at 258 points in P2. Kevin Birrell currently has 306 points in P1. Now, I believe the maximum points you can score is 54 points in a race.
Would you say that Hakan was that 256 or something?
258.
258, okay. And
So-
then 306 for.
Hakan.
Well, Kevin Beryl, at the moment, he has finally put a time in, did he? No.
No,
Still. Got a couple more laps to go.
2
So
laps
best of
left
3,
for
isn't
him.
it?
Yeah. So I think Benoit Favre and Kevin Stam and Paulo Lopez, potentially Doriano Ricciuti as well, all in contention for that P3 slot. But I think Kevin Birrell and Hakan Grebstad are sort of in a league of their own right now, unless something goes drastically wrong. For example, if Kevin Birrell retired from this race right at the beginning and then didn't manage to win next race, Hakan could get it.
Oh, he just got a purple. And bang, he goes straight to the top of the timesheets.
Oh,
And says,
my
welcome to you
goodness.
back into the United States of America.
Oh my goodness. We were just talking about how he didn't like the car. He must have did something inside of that cockpit and got that car just right. Because we didn't think anybody was going to knock off Paul off the top of that grid right there. But Kevin just shows why he's on top of the points table, and now he is on top of the grid here tonight at Pocono.
That shows the reason why it has a 4,000 I rating here. Nearly double the I rating of most of the field in here.
He's
So,
got that thing
yeah.
locked in.
As I was saying to him last time we had a chat, obviously in the post-race interview from that, I said, mate, I've seen you in so many of those I-rating top 10 highlights. So I was like, I know this man. So he gets around and can obviously put that car on pole. If he wraps this up right, I presume, so if he wins this race, gets the extra bonuses for fastest, most laps led, or however the point system works, that's it, isn't it? The trophy's his, you'd have to say. But that would obviously be depending on... Yeah, well, I mean, Hakan Grebstad would have to come second, I'd imagine, and maybe still
Yeah,
keep in the
if
points
Hakan
race.
comes second, and then something happens to Kevin next race, and then Hakan finishes first, Hakan can still get it. Obviously, that's really sort of loose maths. It can probably be a bit tighter than that, but yeah, that's the very basis of it.
That's going to be a lot of pressure, isn't it, on both the drivers? Because more pressure on Kevin, you'd have to say, because he knows, once again, if something goes wrong, you know, there's a crash, and that could be potentially throwing away a championship there after doing such a great job all season. You also don't take it too easy as well, too, don't you? Because you can become complacent and get involved with accidents of other cars and stuff. The best for him to do, obviously, is be out in front and stay out in front, and then not have to worry about drama behind.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about Kevin being complacent here tonight. After we just saw him run a couple laps there, knew there was something wrong with that IndyCar, and then got that thing right to be on top of the grid. But Biggles, if you want to do the top 10, I'll take it over at 10.
Oh, you love me reading through all those names, don't you? Anyway, Kevin gets the pole position there from the Portuguese driver, Paulo Lopez. We go to the French driver of Benito Flavier and Robin Damal. Brody, and the Brits, of course, in P5 and P6 of Brody Maynard and Alex Richardson. And then Matteo for the French driver alongside his French driver there of Sylvia, I think Lazar. Hakan Grebstad, second in the championship, next to our Flying Dutchman, Kevin Stam. And then we have Frankicina, I think it is, and Eric Lombard. He can get the next 10. So, that is 12.
Yeah, that's 12 right there with Eric Lombard, another American on the grid here tonight. Taking a look at Alec Boss right there in the 13th spot. Kevin Ledger in 14th right there. Then we look at Jesper Eriksson racing out of Sweden right there. And a fellow Swede right next to him, Fredriksson. And then we go to 17th with Leon Elowit right there in the 17th spot, racing in that 77 machine at the back of the pack.
Sorry, I do believe Leon Elwood is one of the race control.
Yeah. He's
there we go. So he's literally back of the pack.
Yeah, the safety pace car is actually not driven around these ovals, is it? So he won't be driving that. I mean, it will be automatically. Barney will be driving it, I presume. Barney does a bit of everything around here. Just don't remind Leon, I think, of driving a pace car in Long Beach, right? Was that Leon that did that?
Oh no,
Gerald,
that was George.
That was George, yeah. Damaging the pace car and causing an accident behind. All right. I think we need to worry about that. Obviously, the ovals, we only have the one tyre compound, which is the primaries. No push to passes, which I still think they need to have in ovals. I know that you don't think that's a good idea, Gerald, last week saying that. No, but I was like, nah, well, give them a little bit more of a boost. They're grown men. They know how to handle these cars.
As you look at the cars roll off of pit road right now, we get a shot at those beautiful liveries on those Indy cars right now. A lot of color in tonight's race there, Biggles.
Yeah, there is. I mean, and Kevin's new livery looks fantastic. We were just talking about that the other day. That metallic, or the matte gloss at the front with a little bit of the matte at the back, and blending of the colors together. Because we got Paulo Lopez. I love his, obviously, Portuguese, anti-store racing, Portuguese spotted livery. And I'm still yet to see all these coming to some of the new drivers' liveries as well, too. The Swedes are going with that typical yellow and blue kind of esque livery. And when it Kane Ledger as well, too, the Australian, is going anything green and gold or something like that. And by the way, congratulations to the British cricket team for winning the World T20 tournament in the finals, beating Pakistan.
There we go. As now we're going to look at Kevin Burrell is going to take us to the green flag here at Pocono. We were just talking about what he can do here tonight. He can all but wrap it up very, very close heading to that last race of the season. We're in the second to last race of the season here tonight from Pocono, as Kevin's going to take us to that green flag. We're waiting for Barney, the flag man, up in that flag stand. He's ready to go IndyCar racing here tonight, and the green flag is in the air, and we are going to kick off the second to last race of the season here in the anti-stall IndyCar series, as we're going to watch that pace car pull off. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are on and popping once again here from Pocono.
Yep, there he goes. It's a loud pedal, and that car is loud away. Good start there, but maybe a little bit further back. Paulo is under a little bit of pressure. Actually, there is a little bit of pressure right behind Paulo between both the French drivers there and Alex Richardson. It looks like some other positions, gains and lose at the back, but so far so good.
Yeah, rocket start from Kevin right there all by himself as we're going down the slanted straight right now, down into the second set of corners. They're going to go single file down into this little loop of corner right here. Looks like there's a pass taking place, though, right there at the top of the grid. It looks like we're already getting dicey off the corner. This is going to be a tricky triangle for a lot of these drivers here tonight. As now Paulo Lopes is our race leader. Yeah,
pace car's out, and it looks like, I think it was Eric that had a little bit of a tank slap. There's a couple of people that have crashed on that one. We have 3, I believe. Alec as well. Oscar, we'll go back and have a look at the replays of this, of course. Now keep an eye out for, just trying to think of the livery there. Well, it's the number, Eric's number 96. This is it here. And he must get a little bit twirly wood. No, it's contact up the front there, you can see.
Oof.
And then, of course, it's just you're just a passenger in a pinball machine at that point.
Oh.
And this is why it's very clever for Kevin to be at the front. Actually, he's not. Paulo Lopez now isn't in the lead of this race, but still, up the front is where you want to be, so you don't have to worry about having to avoid cars behind you.
Yeah, Paulo really wasted no time up there. You saw the speed out of Paulo there in that Q session. Wasted no time to get around Kevin, get up there to the top of the grid. Now, Kevin's got some speed behind him as well. He's got the 2 Frenchmen behind him, and Benoit and Robin right there. So he's got to watch out to not lose more positions on the racetrack when this thing goes green again. But you were right, though, Biggles. You don't want to be in that middle of the pack, because if one domino falls, they're all going to fall.
Yep, exactly. I was just programming my lights, LED lights that I have programmable lights to put all around my background so that it all starts flashing orange when it's going in yellow, when it goes into a caution, and then it goes green. I've almost done it. I'll share some photos, of course, online. Sammy, for the drivers. Oh, still seeing an accident. There's another car off of a wheel in the background. So there's a collision under the pace car, I believe. Who was that? Just so he was entering in the pit lane right now. Unless he was just cruising around before and missed the pit lane, but definitely. Just saw the edge of that. Somebody was had it see in a wheel off and goes down the pit road. Now, anyway, there's 4 people in the pit lane right now. And I think that was Arlington Van der Bos. He's out. Eric's come out. Oscar's still in the pits. Leon. Oh, Leon's not racing.
See, right now, still under our first caution of the night. Wasted no time for that caution flag to come out, as we were only about, let's say, the second or third corner into this race here, Biggles. And we spoke off air about how we were wondering if this was going to be a caution-filled race or a green flag run style of race, and we're kind of seeing it there. But what I've seen so far when we hit these oval tracks and these Indy cars, we have a few cautions to start out, but a lot of these drivers are so skilled and so comfortable in these Indy cars. They're gonna get this track. They're gonna know how to take these corners. They're gonna know how to pass, and then we'll start to see those green flag runs.
I think we hope, because we don't go back to the memories of, I think it was Chicagoland or something that we had earlier in the season, where we had Texas Motor Speedway, where we had quite a few cautions in that one. But ever since then, once again, they generally have been well behaved in the other ovals, as you said. But that's the thing, isn't it? So when you cautions breed cautions, don't they? Safety cars breed safety cars because of the fact that they're all bunched up again.
They really do, but it looks like we're going to go green flag racing here once again, as Paulo is going to take that green flag down into corner number 1 in a huge restart out of the Portugal racer right there. Paulo Lopes going to take us down to corner number 1. Kevin Burrell is going to try to follow right there in the second position as we come around corners number 1 and 2 right now. We see the Flying Frenchman behind him, though, with Robin and you see right there, we see a change of position. Looks like Benoit has now got that third spot from Robin.
Yeah, the 3 French drivers. Sylvia's up 3 positions there as well, so they're all 3, 4, and 5 working together. No doubt, probably all in a VC together. I'm pretty sure they'll be talking French. Maybe. Couldn't even spy and listen to them. Look at the weaving currently at the moment that Paulo's doing.
Yeah, Paulo's trying to cut that slipstream coming off of his IndyCar. Doesn't want to give Kevin any kind of advantage here at Pocono. But you watch, I love this in-car camera, this cockpit ride with Kevin right now. You can see how he's going to tackle this tricky triangle here tonight. Right there, still in 5th gear. You don't see him downshifting too much right now. Maybe on this top of the corner or right here, the top of the triangle, you might downshift just a little bit or brake just a little bit. But I don't see this being a course where they're really going to have to downshift a lot or brake a lot. You can really let these things fly around this tricky triangle.
Absolutely, and I'm pretty sure that I have to turn right very often as well. So just up and down
this
for a couple of gears. Kevin Stam was the last or the quickest man on the track before. It's just been replaced by Paulo Lopez, but he was putting a bit of pressure onto the back there of Robin. Still is. Don't we get too close to that fence up on the outside wall there. Otherwise, you'll be visiting the medical center.
You see what right now we have a pass taking place right here on the racetrack. Looks like Kevin Stam's going to take a spot away from Robin. Looks like Robin wants that spot back right now. They're just going to inch right next to each other, going down into the corner. We're drag racing just a tad, going into this last set of corners right there. You see a little bit of a wiggle from Robin there, just a little bit there, Biggles. Looks like they're going to stay side by side here down the front stretch.
And look at the Kevins, actually, because I was like, that's Kevin in front of them. Kevin dropped back to P3, so he's been overtaken by the French driver, and now they're all going to catch up together. And this is actually allowing Paulo to get a little bit more of a breathing space, 1.3 seconds and change away from them while this battle's occurring now for the P2.
Yeah, and you don't want to give Paulo any kind of breathing space there at the top of the grid. We saw the
Kevin's
speed
dropped off big time there. What's happened?
Yeah, what's happened to Kevin there? Kevin's going backwards there on the grid. All of a sudden, we saw that beautiful livery come into display there on the screen, and we're looking at him dropping positions right now all the way down to 5th.
Does he have damage? I didn't see anything in the notes saying he's having contact with the wall. I mean, generally, you would have to go box if you contact with the wall. Maybe a slight tap to the back or something, but I don't see anything in the notes from the race control.
It doesn't look like
it's unusual for him to be dropping off that much pace unless he just wants to sit back and keep behind this field. But what's his gap? Yeah, see, he's within the slipstream, so It's interesting, isn't it, when I see him wheel around like that, trying to break the slipstream, because of the fact it looks like they're just warming up their car on a warm-up lap, but
Right.
strategy.
Yeah, must be something wrong with that car, because it doesn't look like he's pushing it as hard as he wants to. There's got to be something that we just don't know that's wrong with that race car right now. Nothing that we could see from our camera angles here at Anti-Style Racing, but maybe it's just some kind of contact he may have made, and the yellow flag is out.
My lights are flashing at the moment, so we have a caution for somebody. That's Matteo, I believe. This could be Matteo and Frankie. Must have had a little bit of a Christmas card exchange earlier this year.
Take a look right now. You see Matteo right there in that yellow and white machine.
Yeah, that's
maybe
the
just
contact.
a bit of a tire
Boom.
tap.
Yeah, and then it takes out Frankie, I think, in the background there, just trying to go halo on halo action. He's like, give me a hug.
Ooh.
Give me a hug. Well, look at this car. It's bouncing around at the moment. It's got hydraulic suspension, like, upside down. That's, yeah. Well, that's an interesting. It's a very a crash. That's a good. The 8 out of 10 if we were voting like in the Olympics. Maybe
I was
9
saying,
out of 10 for that
looked
one.
like Frankie was on a trampoline there for a minute.
Yeah. Say Frankie says relax. I'm sure he was too relaxed on that accident. But they do have a fast repair to use. Now, wondering if see, Kevin hasn't gone into the pit lane or anything at this point, so if he did have any damage, he might have elected to use to fix it then. Oh, somebody's saying, Andy out there saying he's saving fuel.
Oh,
Yeah, Andy,
okay.
of course, it's a pity not to have you, Andy Tapman, out there in the chat, because you couldn't make it and he came home from work late yesterday. But at least you're our pit lane reporter this evening, Mr. Andy. I like it. Keep us informed about all this, because you are a driver in the series, so you know exactly what they're planning on doing.
And it's not like we can really question any kind of strategy out of Kevin with the amount of wins he has this season, the points lead he has heading into this race. That was kind of like a 50-50 we thought here tonight. Either he was going to kind of coast through this race, even though he's kind of fighting the car a little bit, or he was going to go super aggressive, win this race, wrap it up, get the trophy here at Pocono. That way next week he doesn't really have to worry about anything at Road of America next week. But here tonight, we're kind of watching just a coy Kevin here tonight. He's saving fuel, kind of just going to drop back a little bit, get the car a little bit more comfortable. We'll probably see him when these laps tick down here, probably with about 30 to go, 25 laps to go. We'll probably see him flying up to the top of the grid.
I just saw Paulo Lopez did a dummy into the pit lane there, switched all over there to try to trick everybody behind, as generally they would try to probably follow them in. If you just look at because we can see at the moment, look at Paulo Lopez's rear left tire. Is it just me, or is it looks like it's on a completely different angle for the camber?
I think he's got a bit of a slant there on the left side. Yeah, for
I was
sure.
just wondering that. Just wonder if any other cars have that. Is that actually I don't know how detailed iRacing is for the actual visual aspect of the setups. It's correct. Yeah. So Andy out there in the chat, what are you expecting them to box for pitting for fuel? I'll let him have answer that question first before I let you guys take a stab at that one. Or anybody else in the chat? Hello, Stephen. Welcome along. Second safety car. I'm sitting in a bunch of yellow at the moment. I've still got to finish programming those lights, but it's great. It'll go green soon. So we've had two drive. Mateo's out. He's elected just not to fix that car or too much damage, or says he's in the pit lane, but he's actually retired from the session. Well, he's still in the pit lane, my apologies, but Jasper is out. So his first rookie for his first race, unfortunately, won't be seeing the checkered flag.
Yeah, that's unfortunate there for that rookie. He actually looked pretty fast in the qualifying session. Looked fast to start off this race as well, but we've seen what these caution flags breed here tonight. It looks like we're going to get that green flag in the air as Paulo Lopes is going to take us across the line here. We're back green flag racing here, the Anti-Stall Racing IndyCar Series, as Paulo is going to take us down at the corner number 1, but it looks like that speed is building behind Paulo.
great start, of course. But then again, he's also breaking the win. Now, a little bit of information in a second. I'm going to have a look at that, Andy, to read. Because you can see the battle for P2 brewing there. Kevin Stam taking that P3. And now he's in the middle of a French sandwich for the Dutch driver.
You see Benoit right there.
Coming back, Bob.
Yeah, Benoit has some speed, though, in his machine. You saw Paulo trying to break that slipstream, going side by side there on that straight. Not going to be enough, though, as Benoit is right there. You cannot miss Benoit on the track here tonight, racing the highlighter green race car here tonight. And you see him down in the first corner. Looks like Benoit has that speed. He just needs to find that opportunity.
All the different racing lines that are taking into that. So some close to the wall, some close to the inside apron. And the hisses that get that little weavings on the main straightaway, one of the straightaways. And Andy says that before the safety car was told the people were fuel saving on a course for a 2-stop. You're guessing with this caution, everybody will make that. Thank you. We'll see. I trust in your judgment. You kind of know what you're doing. You're a race driver.
As now looks like Benoit and Paulo almost side by side there for a minute. Got a battle for third taking place as well right now between Kevin Stam and Robin. Like Robin has the speed right there to get around Kevin. They're just trying to find their opportunities right there. As it looks like Robin's going to go to the inside right there. Looks like he might ride that momentum around the corner. Ooh, bit of a slide out of Kevin there coming out of the corner. Robin now files right behind Kevin. We have a side-by-side battle for the lead taking place, Biggles.
Yes, we do. We absolutely do. So it's maybe, once again, it could be like a situation where Paulo's looking to fuel save, or he has actually just under the attack there from the pace. So you can see, once again, people are going to take the inside line, the outside line. That's the thing, too. When you're in the inside line, you come back out. You can't come back out immediately to the wall. That's also brave. You have probably short shift and stuff like that. Not a race driver, but you can see. Looks like also a move for the teammate of Sylvia, I think, Lazard at the back there. Is challenging Mr. Harkin grabs that, the man at second in the championship, who needs to get a race win, essentially, or at least ahead of Kevin, who's currently running a P8.
Yes, right now we see our new race leader, Benoit Favre, is now leading the race there at the top. And you see right now we're very, very bunched up for the top 4 spots on the grid right now. So it looks like Kevin Stam's going to steal a spot from Paulo on the inside right there. And you see it now coming down the front stretch. Ooh, they got very, very close to the outside wall. As now Benoit's going to take us down into the first couple corners right there. Paulo's going to try to break that slipstream to go to the inside of him. Not going to be enough, though, as Benoit's going to take us around corner number 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's still racing team mates right there running in 2 and 3. So they're no doubt, I think they are actually in a VC when they are racing together. So they're probably talking to each other and building up the strategy to try to do something about taking this lead if they want. You can see the side by side, so they're going to be under communication. They're going to be spotting themselves essentially. That's Paulo Lopez just lurks in the background there, currently at P4, and Harkins slowly catching him. Oh, there's contact in the wall, and that's definitely, who was that? That was that
was Paulo.
Was it Paulo? Yeah, it was Paulo. Yeah, that's going to cost a little bit of damage. And how much would that be, Andy, out there? Would that be manageable to drive, mate? A little bit of suspension damage, perhaps? He's still out.
Now we have a new race leader on the track right now. It's Kevin Stam's now at the top of the grid. You just saw him, came from the 4th position, now leading this race here tonight. Trying to hold off the Frenchman of Benoit Favre right there in the 2nd spot. You see if he can do it here down the stretch. He's going to squeeze him just a little bit, and he does so. And down into the corner, he's going to hold that position just for a minute now. As we come down the front stretch, Benoit is going to try to make another move there, but an excellent racing move there, Biggles, from Kevin to sort of squeeze Benoit up the track just a little bit.
Yeah, I see both the French drivers are making a move into him. One's already did. Look at that. Yes, it's definitely a little bit of pain for Paulo Lopez. There's a sorry get too early out of that corner where he had a contact moment before, and he's on a massive attack right now. The speed difference, I'd say, but still, so very much manageable. And so you've got the French drivers now, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th together, but the Flying Dutchman is leading this race.
Yeah, and you see that Paulo has now lost some spots on the grid, similar to what happened to Kevin Burrell a few laps ago. They could be just saving fuel. They were the top fastest cars here so far at Pocono. They had the top 2 qualifying speeds coming into this race here tonight, so they could just be playing a bit of strategy here when we're only 19 laps into this race. But right now we have quite the battle taking place at the top of the grid, as now it looks like Robin's going to make a big move to try to go for the lead right there. Not going to have enough speed to take it from Kevin, but it looks like, though, Robin has his sights set on the top of the grid. Watch out here in the next couple laps to see if Robin can snag that. It looks like he has now at the top of the grid.
Yeah, exchanging it at the moment there, so you're going to be breaking the air. Let's have a look at the replay of that overtake. Sends one up the inside, and then you commit to it at that point, and you got to make sure when you do come back out there, you don't go too out to the wide, because right there has just enough space to sneak in the front.
That was super, super smooth out of the Frenchman right there. Time that just right, get back on that gas, make that pass super, super clean, as now Robin Dumel is going to be our leader here at Pocono. Going to try to hold off Kevin Stamm. Kevin Stamm wants that position back though, Biggles. We have quite the battle for the lead taking place up here. This has been going on now for the last, I'd say, 5 or 6 laps. Just interchanging leaders left and right. These guys want to win this race here tonight. And they don't care it's only lap 20.
Harkin! Whoa! That's Paulo Lopez trying to go into the pit lane a little bit the wrong way. You can see the rear end. I was just talked about Harkin, because Harkin Grabstad, of course, is sitting back there comfortably watching that, hoping maybe there's something that happens up there. But this is definitely the damage that Paulo Lopez had earlier that's making the rear slide. Good. I don't see if he contacts anything around here. There's your pit lane entrance. Maybe he just gets it stopped in time, and, well, what a place to lose it, if anywhere, in your pit lane entrance.
Yeah, that's about the most perfect spot that you want to come to a stop, is right there on pit road. You just put that thing in neutral and get it down to your pit box. But right now we have another battle ensuing up here. These top 3 guys have been at it here for the last couple of laps. Benoit's up there. We have Kevin Stamm up there, and Robin Dumel is now leading the race here on lap 22. But right now, Biggles, as you were just talking about, when do these guys have to box? You know, you got to think around maybe lap, I want to say lap 30, 35 maybe is when we're going to see our first wave of pit stops.
Yeah, that's one for Andy. Andy did say that they should be in for a 2-stopper. See if that actually pans out a little bit for Paulo Lopez. Now having to be forced to take that pit stop but back out, currently running in P12, and can just get his head down and see if an alternative strategy might pan out for him in this race. Harkin's caught this battle too, the top 4. And, you know, he needs a race. He wants a race when he, you know, because knowing that Kevin's a little bit further down the field at the moment, but we do suspect that Kevin is doing some massive fuel saving right now.
Yeah, and you mentioned it here, Biggles. You know, I mentioned it before you joined us up here in the booth. Ocon started off really, really strong this season, actually winning the first race of the season. But since then, it's not that he's had a bad season per se, Biggles. It's sort of just like he hasn't had the results to really stack up enough points to really have a realistic shot at Kevin Burrell, as we see a car down on the stretch back there.
Oh, it was Kevin? I think that was... no, that's Paulo Lopez. Paulo Lopez has gone back in. So you got a toe back. Let's have a look. You think, would he have not... He would have had to elect to... He was pretty quick in his pit stop zone. Depending if he used his... we are on a caution currently at the moment.
Oof.
But I wonder if he did his repairs or not. Sometimes you can forget to do that, can't you, accidentally, if you go into your pit lane. Remember, it was a unforced pit stop. There's Oscar. It almost looks like a Force India livery. Well, all that work that everybody had to do at the top 4 at that point has all been bunched up again for our 3rd safety car of the evening. But yeah, it's surprising nobody's electing to use this time right now to visit pit road and get some fuel. So we're still too early, I presume.
Yeah, I think these drivers are going to push it at least another 10, 15 laps. And then possibly, I'd say around the 35, 40 lap range, you'll start seeing drivers head in. You know, as Andy said, it's going to be a 2-stopper, so you want to kind of time it just right. You got to think, though, too, that you're probably going to have another caution along the way there as well. So you got to factor that into your pit strategy going forward. But right now, you know, we were just speaking about the top 2 guys on the points table right now. We were looking at Kevin Burrell down in the 6th position, and Håkon right there in the 4th spot. You know, as I was mentioning, Håkon really hasn't had those results to really give him a realistic shot. As
Oh, here they
now
come in.
we're gonna see. Yep,
Yeah.
I had to wait just in case there was a fake out there.
Yeah, well, that would be a very dangerous fake out at that point when they're so bunched up. I mean, you know, especially if you were on the inside. So they're all going in. This is 11 drivers all coming in, right? And in fact, I think all other drivers are in as well. I'm just seeing if Oscar's coming in. And this is a really crucial moment down there, and then in pit road, where you have to duck. Some of those wheel jacks might be hitting you on the head. Is that damage on the yellow and white car that's sitting in the pit? Yeah, it is. Some of the front wing is damaged. Was there a collision in the pit lane entrance? Get a replay of everybody going to pit road, because I think there was a collision. Saw a couple of massive lockups.
Yeah, and if it's a yellow and white car, that could be one of the Frenchmen that we've been watching. The top of the grid right there, and of course we see Robin Dumel up there.
Yeah,
Let's
look
see
at
what happens here.
Which one is it at the back? No, that's see. Oh, he's already in the pit road there. See that the front nose is missing. Okay. So that was. I wonder where that occurred. Still being repaired. 25 of 100. Once again, my room is yellow.
Very wild
Now, I
race
wonder-
so far, Biggles. Yep, go
I
ahead.
wonder if. Yeah, I'll say. Well, George is not driving the safety car, so it should be okay at the pace car. But if George is George one of our official marshals this evening? Okay, we'll go back to that in a second. Maybe under no caution we can chat to him about. So far, so good when it comes to having to do driver reports. Let's go racing green flag again. 26 of 100.
Yeah, as Robin Dumel is going to take us down into the first set of corners right now. Good restart out of that yellow and white machine right there, racing out of France, trying to show out here tonight. Actually, France would be my World Cup favorite here in the next couple of weeks, as Robin Dumel is going to try to hold off Kevin Stamm there in the 2nd spot. He's got Benoit right there, another Frenchman in the 3rd spot. The Flying Frenchman once again here at Pocono. But you see Robin's going to take us down to the last set of corners right there. But you see Kevin has already got that speed underneath that IndyCar.
And Kevin just got overtaken by Frankie at the back there too, the championship leader. They're exchanging positions left and right. Where is his championship contender? Well, that's Huck, and he's sitting in P9 currently at the moment. So something happened in those pit stops there where it took a little bit more time than everybody else. He did actually. It took 16 seconds, so he's taken more fuel, I presume. And Kane has crashed, my Australian driver. Uh-oh.
You see what happened to Kane right here.
It's the number 3 car you can see right there. And you can see the rear end there was a bit twitchy. There it is, it's twitched there. Yeah,
Ooh.
that's really,
Man.
that's just a tiny moment, isn't it? Just a tiny little snap. It looked like he had a little issue with that before going into that corner.
Yeah, and that's a hard impact to that top side wall. Even if you're racing on a simulator, you're going to feel that just a little bit, Biggles, because that's a hard nose right into that top side wall. And for Kane, we mentioned it, there's a few new drivers here in this field. We've seen it takes a little bit to get these Indy cars underneath you. You can have a good qualifying session, you can run a couple good laps, but once the tire wear and everything else starts to come into play, that's when you really have to get these cars underneath you. And we're seeing already at the top or the bottom of that grid right there, a lot of our rookies are out of this race already.
Yeah, it's once again, it's difficult to get your head around. These are very, very difficult cars to drive because once again, I mentioned in another series that I have an actual IndyCar engineer that runs that series. They don't even use these cars. They use the earlier models because he's even himself saying they're very, very difficult to drive. So you've got to give these guys a big pat in the back. They're handling these beasts, and Kane, unfortunately, was maybe thinking it was a V8 supercar and see if he can handle a couple of bumps on the wall, but he's got to get the repairs out. Once again, you just got to get there, even as rookies, if you don't necessarily have the pace of the guys up top there, you got to get practice. Just to continue to do that, because racing practice like this is the best way to go. And just real quick there, because I wanted us to go, if George is out there and listening, hello George, if you'd like to pop in to give us a quick chat, if you can. They're going pit road again. No, there's 2 dummies. I think somebody did go in, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it did. It was Sylvia. But yeah, maybe George, if you get a second to come and chat to us, because obviously so far we've only had 1 report, I thought. Because most of these accidents that we have seen have been solo accidents.
Yeah, but quite a battle, though, we've seen so far here tonight. Biggles only on lap 29. A lot of interchanging of the leaders there at the top of the grid. We've seen a couple guys fly up the grid as well from their starting positions. We've seen smooth passes. It's just been a very, very good race so far. As you just mentioned, a lot of our cautions here tonight have just been solo accidents. There's been a few guys getting entangled, but most of all here tonight, 29 laps in, it's been a very, very competitive race from the Tricky Triangle.
The Tricky Triangle, I love it. It has. As you can see, that's not all the drivers. You see, we still got a couple more drivers. The 11 car and the 10 car starting to catch the best of the pack there. Now, that's Sylvia and Oscar. Alex is there, but he is a lap down now. Now, the average pit stops that everybody took generally, and that pit stop round before there was about 9 seconds, give or take, for the actual stopped pit stop. But the longest ones were Harkin. And Vander took 20 seconds, 16 seconds for Harkin, and about 12 seconds for Eric. So once again, we're not quite sure if they took a little bit more fuel than the other drivers, and it cost them a couple of track positions.
Yeah, right now, as the pace car is still leading us around here, or the safety car is leading us around here. The last set of corners looks like we're about to go green flag racing once again. Maybe this time around, we'll see what that pace car does. Pace lights are off right there as it peels off. We're going to go green flag racing here once again on lap 29 as Robin Dumel is going to take us down to the first set of corners.
Here we go. He's done this a couple of times now. Still plenty of racing to go, 71 or so laps. Just got to keep cool, calm, and collected, especially at the moment too, if you're the likes of Kevin and Harkin in the championship hunt.
You see Robin right up there trying to do the same strategy as a lot of our leaders here tonight, trying to break that slipstream of that second place car. Not going to be enough though, as Kevin Somms right there on that back wing. You see him trying to get around. He goes to the high side of Robin right there. See if it's going to be enough speed to overtake. Not going to be enough now as we're heading down the front stretch down into the first set of corners. Kevin Stom looks like he might try the inside. He's got that nose peeking out right there. Not going to be enough though, as he's just going to follow Robin down in the first corner.
Yeah, you got to be risking it for the biscuit. You got to time it perfectly, of course. Otherwise, you're also going to scrub too much speed off when you go massively off the racing line. I love the rear wings, of course, and you've been talking about the rear wings. I'm like, what rear wing? That little tiny piece of paper thing that's strapped to the back. It's completely different rear wing to a Formula 1 car, no doubt.
It's like a real rear spoiler that you would put on a Honda Civic or something. It's that small.
But it's all about downforce, of course, and slipstream. So you don't want to have a big rear wing, because all that's going to do is slow you down. Like the top 3 aren't slow, because they're still going for it tooth and nail.
Oh, and they're right on top of one another. 1, 2, 3, right up there at the top of the grid. And one driver that's standing out to me, and I'm actually unaware of this driver here in this series, is Brody Maynard right there, racing a great race up into the 4th position. This is a newcomer, I would have to say, Biggles, or is this somebody that we just kind of been racing under the radar?
Brody's been in the Andy-Store racing for some time, but I haven't seen him in IndyCar. I think he was in the Formula 1 series. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Brody's been with us for quite a while now, but obviously he's only just decided to join IndyCar. In fact, I've raced with Brody before. We were the winners of the 6 hour of Watkins Glen together.
Oh, there you go. Congratulations. Give us a wave, Brody. Good to see you. Don't take your hand off the steering wheel. Because you're doing it 220 miles an hour. That's not a place you want to be taking your hand off the wheel. But he is catching that pack.
Yeah, and if he can get himself into the mix up there with these top 3 cars, he can start making some passes to the inside, because it looks like that's a preferred line for Brody right now, right there in that 4th position, is that inside track. You see a lot of these drivers here, 1, 2, 3, you know, you're looking at Robbie, looking at Benoit, you're looking at Kevin Stom. They almost prefer a middle to high side line right there, as you see Benoit and Kevin go a little bit higher on the racetrack. You know, if Brody can stick to the inside lane there and just get to the inside, kind of get that nose right there on that path, he can do a little 2-for-1 action there and put something on Robin at the top of the group.
Very possible. Very possible. But once again, who wants to take the lead? Because sometimes you're not going to be fuel saving that much when you're on the lead of the race. And here we go side by side. We could get 3 into 1, but that would definitely be dangerous at that corner right there if you have to tuck yourself in there before you hit the shoulder.
Yeah, and you saw Benoit knew that if he stayed on the inside of Robin, he was going to lose another position to Kevin, so he wisely followed right back behind Robin, even though he might have gotten the lead there for just a split second, being all by yourself there on that inside lane. Kevin was just going to follow Robin, take over right there, but here we go. Once again, Benoit's going to try to overtake from Robin down in the corner. He has the speed now, though, ladies and gentlemen, as now Benoit Favre is our race leader right here on lap 35. They're very tight, though, down in the corner.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a bunch of French words, choice words there, like, yeah, pumping a fist and say yes or not. Kevin Stam's sitting there, just lurking in the background there, the Flying Dutchman. He's happy just to watch them do this at the moment, and perhaps sees a 2-for-1 special if they do make a mistake. And they haven't changed it again, too, between the French drivers, so...
Yeah, that's where I would want to be there, Biggles. I want to be in that 3rd position. Watch the Frenchmen kind of battle it out. If anything, if they get entangled, take each other out, you have the easy pass. If they don't do that per se, you still have a great outlook of how you can tackle this race. You know, you're in the 3rd position, you're watching these guys' lines, you're watching how they're going to race each other. They're going to use up their equipment a lot more than you are right there in that clean air in that 3rd position. You wait for those cars just to slow down just a little bit, you can overtake a lot easier.
I wonder if Mr. Director, if we can go on board with Kevin behind there and have a look at the battle from his perspective as he sees those 2 cars there. So this is great. This gives us an indication, too, of the different racing lines, where they're going to go. You see they're happy to be side by side at the moment. I don't think anybody's in a massive urgency to take the lead of this race. It'll bite you a little bit in the fuel, but you see Kevin getting so much more pace with the slipstream there, and then he is right in the middle there. That means he's now breaking the air, of course. He's not electing to tuck in behind anybody specifically of those different racing lines that they're taking. Passes Barney for another lap, 38.
And you see Kevin hit 6th gear in this IndyCar here tonight. Going to downshift just a little bit, still going to keep those RPMs up there in that Indy car, and then get right back on it just a little bit. Not going to shift up per se, he shifts up just there here on the slanted straights, and a downshift right here on the entry of the corner. Going to keep that thing rocking and rolling though, right around corner number 2, and an upshift real fast. I love this camera view, Biggles. You know, I wish we could stay with a lot of these drivers here in this camera view. Almost reminds me of what they just did at the Las Vegas Strip with the F1 cars, the point of view that you got to see. And there's a caution flag on the racetrack here on lap 39.
Oh, that's a pity, because I was really enjoying that one at the moment. And this is Eric, a relatively new driver as well to this season, and just adjusting to something that he did not quite like in this car. There it is. You can see right there. We saw this before, didn't we? Did he save it and keep it out of the fence? Yes, he did. Good job. Reverse it back to the pit lane if you want, but you don't think you really need to, apart from maybe the tyres. Oh, that's frustrating. You can do those victory donouts, my friend, if you win the race. I want to see his helmet. That's his green helmet in there or something there for a second, if we have the pictures of that. Very interesting for his helmet. So he's caught the back of the pack because they were already bunched up, essentially.
Yeah,
no,
right
we don't
there,
have,
not
unfortunately,
the back.
Yeah, the cameras to see that. But yeah, see how Kevin had to massively lift off before when they were approaching the slowest corner, I believe it was, in turn 3, 4. I mean, you say the first 2 corners, right? That curve is 2 corners. Or
It's
1?
tricky. It's tricky to count the corners here at Pocono. I'm not really quite sure which corner is which. I know when you come off the straight, that's 1.5. And then you go into the top of the triangle, that's maybe 2.5. Then you go into the bottom side of the racetrack, that's 3.5 right there. So maybe a total of 4.5 corners here at Pocono. That's why they call it the tricky triangle. You're not really quite sure what corner you're in.
We do have a bunch of drivers that have just popped into the pit lane at the moment there as well. So that's also Kevin Burrell, our championship leader, has gone into the pit lane there and get some fuel. So there's actually about half the field, more than half the field you can see they're gone in. And that's left this pack out remaining. Which I wouldn't be surprised. That's why I'm not surprised that Hakan Grabstad did stay out, because he was the one that was fueled more in that previous pit stop.
Yeah,
So we get an idea now who's taken more fuel than now. See, second.
And Håkan really needs to try different strategies here tonight. We spoke about the importance of him winning here tonight. He really needs to do that, Biggles. You know, even with a bad run out of Kevin here tonight, Håkan needs to win. He needs to get another win underneath his belt. He needs to go into that last race of the season with a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum, knowing that he can actually get back into victory lane in these Indy cars. You know, a top 5 finish might seem cool. Even a top 3 would be cool here tonight at Pocono. But it'd be a disappointing end to Håkan's season, even heading into that last race of the season, seeing as though he started out very, very strong in these Indy cars.
He did. He's a multiple race winner this season. I just tried to reflect on which was the last race. I know it was only a couple of races ago now, but he was back into his race-winning form, because he was the first race winner to start the season, and as you said, had a couple of moments of not so much of a performance he wanted, but then he's picked up his game recently, and that's the best way to do it. You want to end the season out with the highest possible position he could be, and that's either going to be a 1 or 2, maybe a 3 if you make too many mistakes. But he wants to. You got to cover it off that second place in the championship at least, and definitely go for the opportunity now tonight to go for gold here and try to get the maximum amount of points. So green flag racing again, 41 of 100.
As you see, Robin Gomez going to be our race leader here under green. We have 3 wide racing down into the first set of corners right here. This is at the back of the pack there, Biggles. Doesn't matter what position you're racing for here tonight. You want every inch you can get right there, as things are going to simmer down just a little bit at the back of the pack. And my question to you, as we're going to go around the tricky triangle here, our first lap under green, do you think, for instance, as you know, see Håkan and Kevin right there, 5, 6 on the grid. Do you think at all either one of those drivers are grid watching, let's say? Do you think they're watching out for the other guy on that grid, or do you think they're just racing their own race here tonight?
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting question. I'm not quite sure to answer. I was just shocked and surprised to see the first 3 wide into a corner so far on the track. It was the first time we saw it on lap 42. So it is possible. Yeah. And possible to get out of it cleanly. As we can see, we're on with Lazar, and that's Kevin, the championship leader, just up the road from him.
And I think you're going to see that style of racing pick up here as we're almost to the halfway mark here at Pocono. You're probably going to see a lot more 3 wides. You're going to see a lot more drivers really not be content on their positions on the grid. You're going to see a lot more drivers trying to push that envelope here, try to get around the guy in front of them. As you've seen here tonight, you've seen drivers swerving back and forth, trying to break slipstreams. You know, you see drivers going inside, outside, really smooth passes. But I feel like once this race starts to tick down, you're going to see these drivers really pull out all the stops, really try to win this race here tonight, especially Håkan, especially Kevin right there. 2 drivers that have really... Håkan hasn't really been content here tonight. Kevin, though, we saw that early Biggles out of him. He really drifted back on that grid, saving that car here. It's just when he's going to let those horses gallop, let's say.
I know, they're still measuring things in horsepower, aren't they? It's amazing. I don't think they're pulling by horses anymore.
No, they don't.
The battle for the lead, of course, is still exchanging between Robin and Kevin. I'm just interesting, like once again, the other Kevin Burrell, he was happy and content to give that position up to the two French drivers up the road there. He's got a little bit of pressure there from Oscar behind him, and just coasting, it seems. At the moment, you don't need to go too crazy. I mean, we're just getting close to the halfway point of the race, so there's plenty to go. Of course, he's thinking about checkered flag. He's not thinking about lap 44.
Right now, we're still watching these battles taking place here on the grid. Watching the Hulk on Greg's bed right there. Won the first race of the season, as Biggles just mentioned. Won another race. The races are to go. Here tonight, though, he needs to either finish podium or win the race here tonight. Finish better than Kevin Burrell to have a mathematical shot at the championship next week in our season finale here in the Anti-Stall IndyCar series. As now we're going to watch Hulk on. He's going to lose 8 positions on the racetrack. He's going to drop down just a little bit to the 5th position. Still going to be a few positions better than Kevin Burrell there down in the 8th spot.
Yeah, for now. And so we expect that these things heat up with another pit stop around later, which may be the final pit stop. We don't know. That'll be panning, obviously, on the safety cars. I was going to say, Harkin can't even do a cross center moment, isn't it? And take each other out to win a championship. You can't do it because you'd just be even. Not that these drivers would ever do that anyway. Too mature and too admirable to pull off something that professional Formula 1 drivers have done in the past.
Yeah, we just saw that yesterday between Hamilton and Verstappen. They got a little entangled there, even on the first lap.
Yeah, it's a lot of controversy about that at the moment too. Everybody's like debating about what is determined as a pass and stuff like that now in Formula 1. It's very difficult. Drivers, of course, are told not to admit mistakes until later on, once they've spoken to the teams and stuff like that, for obviously the legal reasons. What the teams have millions of dollars invested in that. And some drivers, if they do challenge something later on, of course, but the driver's already admitted guilt, pretty hard to overturn that. But once again, here's Harkin inside a green sandwich, almost. He wants to get out of that green sandwich.
Yeah, as you see Benoit right there to the inside. Benoit is now trying to climb back up through the grid. You saw Benoit racing up there for the lead. Up at a few laps to go. Right now, stuck in a little bit of a traffic jam right now here at Pocono. Going to work himself up there right now. He's in the 6th position. He wants to get around Hulk on right there. No, Hulk on doesn't want to give up that spot there inside the top 5. He wants to keep that car right there to have a shot at the end. But you see Benoit's really putting the pressure on the back of that wing to try to get around Hulk on now. You see when he wants to make that move, once he goes to the inside here, he's going to think about it for just a minute. Not going to be enough, though, as he's just going to cruise right behind Hulk on right there. And there he goes to the inside here on the stretch. He's going to go down into the next set of corners to the inside. Is he going to have enough? This is super close, Biggles, here for the battle for the top 5.
Yeah, he's going to have to leave some space on the outside. Benoit has got his teammate a little bit further back, so he's going to maybe help these teammates. Of course, they're going to be working together. He's going to have to commit to this right now. Can he get out ahead? But no, he can't. He still has to scrub too much speed off there. So he can't slip in ahead. And Harkin, of course, wants to defend like Mac, because he knows that he wants crucial points here as we're approaching right on the halfway point. Still, Robin and Kevin just happy campers sitting out the front with a bit of a gap to 1.2 seconds down the road to Brody. He's doing a great job there for his debut race.
Yeah, a good run on Brody right there. We saw Brody down in the 4th spot, now up to 3rd. So really just trying to hope for a shot at these top 2 guys. But as you mentioned, Biggles, these guys are just basically hanging out all by themselves here. Just kind of interchanging one another, kind of giving each other just a little bit of a more push to kind of cruise through these laps here as we're going to cross the line here. Just at the halfway mark here, lap 50. We've got 50 more to go here from Pocono. As you see, Silvio right there in that green machine is going to lose a little bit more pace to his Frenchman up there. You see Benoit and Hulkon are still battling out there for the position.
They are still. Harkin's holding on. But see, Harkin's now got a nice toe there that he didn't have before from Frankie, the Spaniard, up the road. So that's going to help him, give him a little bit of a breathing space from that French attack behind him. Now, this is interesting. If we stay green flag conditions for the rest of the race, and these two are looking pretty good, and that's the moment when you would be the likes of Harkin, right, who's currently a P5, is like, as soon as we get deeper in the race, you'd have to start making some moves then, because you can't let them get too far away up the road because it's 3-4 seconds to catch up in an IndyCar is a lot of time to make on a relatively short track.
Yeah, and if you can't start catching that slipstream off the guy in front of you or even trying to make a move, you're not going to have enough speed to even overtake right there. As now we're going to watch these battles taking place. Looks like Pocono is going to lose that spot. Nope, going to interchange once again. Pocono's going to go to the inside off the corner. Man, this is getting tight there. This is for a position inside of the top 5. They're almost wheel touching. It almost looks like both drivers have to let off to make sure they don't make contact.
Yeah, Harkin over. I already coined him the Viking Victor. Because obviously from the Norway there, he's got a Viking fight in him, that's for sure. He's not going to yield that as much as Benny. Beno, sorry, is trying to do something about it. He's holding, and he's actually fallen back a little bit there from Frankie. He needs to keep the tailpipe of Frankie up the road to get that slipstream.
Yeah, you need to start getting some kind of pulley going on. You need to start feeling that air coming off those leaders. If not, it's going to be a long race. It's going to be sightseeing, basically, here at Pocono. You're going to watch those leaders. It's going to feel like a mirage in the desert there, Biggles, how much pace they're going to have there at the top of the grid. But right now, we're watching another newcomer, a Swede here tonight in the race. Oscar Fredriksson right there is trying to make a move on one of the Frenchmen to get around. I got to say here tonight, Biggles, a lot of these rookies are showing out. You know, they're going against guys that have been racing here, I'd say majority of them all season long, maybe 1 or 2 races here and there. So really coming in, throwing their names into the mix here in this IndyCar series, making themselves known to the rest of the guys here. And you look at that grid, it's a big shakeup. You know, you see Brody Maynard up there. You see right there, we're taking a look at Oscar. You know, you see Eric Lombard, of course, at the tail end of this pack right there. A lot of these drivers are being rookies in this series are really making themselves known.
Yeah, of course, we've one race to go. This is the penultimate race. That's a great way to introduce yourself into the league, so you get that momentum, don't you? You got that coming off a high, and then signing up, of course, for the new season is going to be a good thing for them, because they know, hey, you know, all right, I'm in this, and with a brand new clean slate next season, then I can be valued out for the championship. And that's going to be great. Look at the tilted wheel once again I'm seeing up the road there. It's just must be the way it looks, because it always that camber on that back left tire there of Kevin's car.
You see right there, actually an awesome helmet from Brody Maynard there. Look at that paint scheme on the helmet. He's looking good inside of that cockpit right now. As it looks like Brody's got a bit of speed right here, Biggles. You know, it looks like he may have just been coasting that car a little bit. It looks like he might be making a move on Kevin here in just a little bit.
You see, drops down to 5th, takes the inside apron. We'll see if he goes, shifts it up to 6 in a second. Bang. Now, this is obviously a longer corner now coming up here, so we'll sweep to the left now. Not quite in the slipstream there. He's going to drop it to 5th. Keep it maximum revs, maximum risk, and maximum rewards, of course, too, by doing it. And just falling back a little bit. So that's something just to show you, like, smooth operator, but you've got to be absolutely perfect, don't you? Because it's just a slight lift, or maybe changing a gear too quickly or whatever, and you can see he's dropping like thousandths of a second here.
And I think I'll bring in our producer here tonight for this question. It looks like
Robin's gone in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me there.
Which is interesting.
Wow, here on looking at lap 57, maybe the last stop of the night for Robin there. I'm not sure why he would have headed down pit road. Kind of a big move for Robin there.
And alone, so you're not going to get a tow from anybody, and they're coming back out right now soon. G'day out there, Steve. He said it's going to be a close race tonight in Blazer. Eric's time's going down a lot. I mentioned it, so Eric, of course, is... Where is Eric currently at the moment? Where is Eric you're referring to? Sorry about that. I have a fish guy driving down the street there selling fish.
I was going to ask
her. Right, they're putting the pressure on Frankie now. Finally, he's caught the back there, Frankie. Oh,
yeah,
you got a little twitchy there. Right there, you got a little bit twitchy in the rear.
But you see Benoit's right there as well, Biggles, not to cut you off, but it looks like with Ocon having that speed, having to check up to make sure he didn't make contact there with Frankie, now Benoit's found that speed. He's got the Frenchman right behind him.
And these top four have boxed on lap 24. And Benoit boxed on lap 39. Huckins into the pit lane. So that's, yeah, maybe the first of these 24. The guys that boxed on lap 24 that I just mentioned. He's the first of that crew to come in.
Yeah,
so that'll be interesting to see how much fuel he takes on, because he took on quite a bit of fuel last time, 16 seconds. See what he does this time around. And whether that, if he can get back out, he might be able to look on the dot, obviously him in the pit lane. He's the 94 dot. And soon he'll be exiting the pit lane. Now, will he be able to exit and get ahead of this pack? You want to hope, and maybe if he's lucky, he can tuck up behind the number 5 car coming around now and get that nice slipstream. That could have worked out brilliantly as a pit stop for him. I think it has, because he has tucked up behind the 5 car, as you can see on the map. So that'll help him get the toe that he needs.
Now we're going to start to see these rolling green flag stops taking place here on lap 60. It's all about which packs pit together. We saw Robin head down by himself, so really not going to maybe we not see pit packing or right together, or we might see drivers head down by themselves here as we count these laps down from Pocono. As you see, our race leader on the track now is the Frenchman of Benoit Favre, leading the race, and he's been fighting to try to get that car back up to the top of the grid there, Biggles. He was racing for the lead there in the first quarter of the race, drifted back just a little bit, got stuck in traffic, if you will. Is now leading this race, but we are awaiting this race car to head down pit road.
And the other pit stops have come out, so you have a look at them. So there's Harkin, and who's come out behind him? That's I think that's Brody. So Brody come just out behind. So Harkin's actually taken advantage of taking that place there. We still got it. You have to see both the French drivers take their additional pit stop. Frankie's in the pit lane at the moment as well. I'm just trying to see what the times. And how's this all panned out after this pit stop? As you can see there, that's your top 4 in this race. And who's coming out of the pit lane right now? That's Frankie coming out of the pit lane. He'll be right there, just in the background there behind this pack. And Harkin's now dropped back. He needs to get this toe. Kevin Stam and Robin are ahead of him. And they're essentially, this is essentially the lead of the race currently at the moment. Well, that's obviously depending on seeing how far these French drivers are going to push it when they come back out. Are they going to either be ahead of this pack or they're going to be behind it?
Yeah,
we'll find out after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. And he's still racing. Sorry, go ahead. It's just a graphic thing, because look at that tyre. It's slanted big time to the left. And look at this. So he's just left it off here, comfortable to sit behind his teammate. Because otherwise he definitely had the speed to go up the inside to get an overtake there. But they're chilling. And at the moment they're going to be putting in some nice, consistently good quick laps, because once again they've got to feel about their pit stop strategy. Will they both box at the same time to tow each other on? Will be the question. These drivers at the moment, now the top 5 drivers that you see, all boxed. Last time they did visit pit road was on lap 39. Everybody else has been in the pit road since. This is good green flag racing that we have currently at the moment, 64 of 100. So we just cranked over about, 15, 16 laps easy under from our previous safety car. Touch wood.
Yeah, it's been a great green flag run right now. As we're still waiting the Frenchman to head down pit road, I was actually going to ask our producer here up in the booth, you know, we do a lot of road course racing where you have to downshift a lot, you have to make those right-hand corners that Biggles was talking about. How excited do you think these drivers were here tonight, knowing that you can let these cars really fly and fit their 6th gear all night long? You don't really have to worry about braking too much or downshifting too much. You can just let these cars go, and there's not much you have to worry about as far as a driver point of view goes.
Yeah, I think there was mixed opinion in drivers. A lot of them really like this track, a lot of them really hate it. You know, as I said at the beginning, it's a particularly difficult track, especially in slipstream. If you're in cleaner, you can actually pretty much punch it all the way through. You don't have to do much else. As soon as you get behind other cars, you have to sort of lift off a bit and control your gears a bit more, like I saw Kevin was doing earlier when we went on board with him.
Yeah, Mr. Director, do you mind going on board right now if Oscar is to... Whoa! There it is! They're almost taking each other out! Both the French drivers who had a spin! And that's definitely going to cause a caution. Now, here it is. That's Sylvia. He's in the lead of this. I believe that's the 11 car. He's got a little bit... Now, did he contact his teammate? That's the only problem when you are running close together as teammates. You have the risk of taking each other out. Now, he's gone on the inside apron here, and the rear's slipped out here. I think there it is. You can see it's losing it, losing it. His teammates had to react, and yes, very lucky.
Wow.
I think also Sylvia's okay. I don't think he got any damage. Look at this. It should be back on. Ooh. Now, that's who you could be there, my friend, if you win. Yeah, he kept out of the wall. He's right there in the checkered flag zone, of course. He's had to back up, wait for the traffic, of course, and just be screaming some in French right now.
That slow-mo action was a lot better than the last Matrix movie right there. That was that was fantastic.
Good job. I wonder if so we got another caution. We haven't heard anything from George. He's probably having a little bit of a snooze at the moment because he hasn't had much to report on. Definitely been nothing reported about that. And I will invite everybody here to the Caribbean Formula One Grand Prix that may happen in the future. Apparently, they're thinking about Colombia. It's right next to me. I don't think it's practical to do it in Colombia. I think more than anything, it should be here in Panama. It has the resources for it, but we'll find out. Hey, you can come have a couple of pina coladas with me, guys. Get you some tickets.
It sounds good.
That'll be in about 5 years from now, probably, if at all it'll ever happen.
The F1 race in Vegas, though, for next year.
Look at the lock-up there from Oscar, I think, heading into the pit lane.
Yeah.
As one of the new drivers in town, and give him a little bit of a heart moment there, isn't it? Code Brown moment, perhaps, but he managed to keep it. Everybody in the pit lane right now, pit road for sure, taking on fuel for may very well be the last time tonight. Congratulations, that was an fantastic. We watched that replay again too, because you got to give it credit for Sylvia. That was a nice save, a nice moment to still keep that car in one piece and still in the race, of course. And the safety car, the pace car's going to bunch up, so it gives him the opportunity to. I mean, currently at the moment, he's running in P3, even after that moment.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to send it. Even though you might see cars spinning in front of you, you just got to keep your foot on the gas pedal and keep it going forward. If any of those cars would have just slowed down just a little bit, they would have been clipped in that action. And you just saw each one of them came flying by with no hesitation at all.
Yeah, can we get a replay of that, please? Again, because that was amazing. Just the skill to how to pull that one off. Yeah, and once again, he's currently running in P3, so even that didn't really impact too much. Let's have a look, because we saw that can we go on board, if you don't mind, on his perspective? You can see this is about the point where the rear's slipping. Now, he's going to be able to feel it, of course, there. He knows it, and look how he's corrected the steering wheel. He's trying to drift it, and that was perfect way to turn because he's kept it out of the fence. And once again, everybody else is very, very lucky, sitting there at the moment just crossing his fingers that nobody's going to hit him. Parks it right here in the checkered flag there, says, I saved 10% off my car insurance, Geico, for sure. And then backs up, and once again, he's running in P3, so amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. You can say you have yourself a bit of a spin around here, and you can still live to see another day. Green flag.
Green flag is in the air once again as Benoit Favre is going to take us down to corner number 1 as our race leader. He's been trying to get to the top of the grid here for a number of laps, but now here he is. But you look at him now. He has the fast American right now in the second position. Kevin Burrell has now thrown out that coy strategy of kind of racing in that traffic jam, if you will. Has now worked that car back up into the second position. Looks like he's got some speed there, Biggles. They're down the last stretch of the course down to the last set of corners. Looks like Kevin's now wasting no time to get that car back on the top of the grid.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton has hammer time, but it's Kevy time right now. That's what Kevin has because he's come alive in the important parts of the race. Of course, 32 to go, and he's sitting pretty here to get a nice race win, possibly from his qualifying pole. Look at the inside here at the moment, just going straight past. This is a lap car. Why is Vanderbos just cruising on by both the drivers. Well, they're not quite yet. They are side by side.
Yeah, he's not a lap car. He's the race leader right now. Yeah. He just went cruising by our leaders. He waved at him as he went by now in that black and white machine. He's a race leader right now. We all got confused up here in the booth wondering why he was so much faster than everybody else. But there he is. Alec Boss is now our race leader here on lap 70.
He must have an 8th gear or something, or 7th gear in that car, because it just drove on by everybody like a Sunday drive going, all right, guys. I caught you sleeping. Wakey, wakey.
Yeah, exactly. He said, I had my 5-hour energy and I'm ready to rock and roll now. And it looks like he's out in the top grid right now, starting to separate just a little bit. And you see there's not much right up there. You know, you see the Oscar Fredrickson. Look at that. A rookie now in the 2nd position trying to make a move on a race leader. Get Robin DeMel back in the mix as well. You see Ben Wall up there. You see Kevin Burrell. We've got quite the top 5 brewing at the top of the grid now with 29 laps to go.
I think they've been sandbagging, haven't they? Because you got Vandervoort is 15 positions gain, of course, and as your man Oscar, who's now in the lead of this race, 15 position gain, sorry, for Oscar, 11 for Ven. So, and there's the 2 French drivers. But what's also interesting is Haken and Kevin are very close on track as well, and the other Kevin. So that is a battle for the championship, of course, brewing, and they're together, and they know it. And one little mistake right now between both of them here could end up in either disaster or happiness.
Yeah, this is going to be one heck of a finish right there. As now you see Holcon is above Kevin Burrell by 1 spot on the racetrack right now here on lap 72. Right now still our race leader is Alex Fredrickson, or Oscar Fredrickson, excuse me here, but he's a rookie here in this series, racing out of Sweden. Really has come on, throwing his name into the mix, and you saw Alec came up there, and now you have a new leader on the racetrack. They're swapping positions there at the top of the grid. This thing's getting crazy now, counting down these laps.
I wonder if he got his desk furniture from IKEA or not. Really sweet. He's probably going, where's the snow? No snow here, it's melted. But that's absolutely great. I mean, they must have been sandbagging the whole time. And now they've pulled the magic bag of tricks out and pulling a bit of a gap away, too, from the battle behind. That's brewing.
Now you see they're going to flip-flop once again as Oscar's going to try to be inside right there of Alec, but it's not going to be enough right there as Oscar's going to still hold that position down this long stretch right there to the tip of the triangle. Right now, they're going to try to slipstream each other. Not going to work, though, as Oscar's going to hold that position down near the corner. You see how bunched up they are, though. Big goes for that 3rd position. That's led by Robin DeMel right there. You see Ben Wall. And you also see Holcon right behind these guys. And that's for 3rd, but right now the race for the lead is heating up as more cars are getting into the mix.
28 to go. Absolutely, because they realize this is the time to get your movement on. They've had their tanks splashed full of gas, so you should have no problems to go to the end. So it's just about doing what you can to keep within the P1 position of Oscar and everybody else, because that's it. Once again, this is the time, and obviously a caution car can change all this up, but this could be the very last green flag racing laps that you're going to do. And you know that Haken needs to make some moves right now, for sure. He's gained 4 in this race from his qualifying position, but he's got to gain another 4 right now to get a race win. Here we go, down the main straightaway, one of the straightaways. Of course, that is the main straightaway, as they flicked over another lap. I wonder if, Mr. Director, if we can go on the rear cam there of Oscar and see how it feels to be leading this race for the rookie. You can see everybody weaving around behind him. See there, everybody's electing to take the slipstream separately this time from each other.
You see
We've
how
had
much
to
lead, though.
lose
Oscar
real, I
has
think.
those.
We might have to be losing you soon, my friend, is it? Correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's still, for me, it's 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm actually on my lunch break from work, so I have to go back to work here just a little bit. And there we go. Perfect timing for the caution.
Frankie has crashed. I think Robin's also crashed. Let's have a look. But yeah, I was going to say, hopefully they could have gone all the way green flag to the end there, mate, so you get to see the race out before you have to go back to work. But it might be delaying it a little bit now with this fifth safety car.
Take a look at this caution here that brought out our 5th caution of the night right now. This looks like it happened on the back of the pack there.
It's Frankie, so keep an eye on that livery. That's the red and black one right there, the 98 car. Is this a tank slapper on the fence? No. Oof. It was up the road. That was Robin, I think. Bang, and he's just a passenger of that one. Also, bang, in the background, another passenger. I think that was Eric that had to take the hit there.
Oh,
so Robin, Robin lost it, and once again, that's unfortunately because she got nowhere to go at that point.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but I have to sign off, you guys. Have a great rest of the race. It's going to be quite the finish. I am bummed I'm going to miss with the names that are on top of this grid right now. We're looking at Oscar, a newcomer into this league. We're looking at Eric that came really out of nowhere. We're looking at Håkon, who needs to win this race here tonight. Kevin Burrell, who's the points leader up there in the 4th position. And Brody Maynard, another rookie here inside of the top 5. So it's going to be quite the finish. I am bummed I'm going to have to miss it, but I got to go back to work here this afternoon. But I appreciate you guys having me on the broadcast, and I cannot wait for the season finale next week.
Thank you very much, Will. Get back to work. Put it on the TVs at your work or whatever if you care, but it's a pleasure. That is commitment to anti-store racing, is it? Using your lunch break to come and cast. We much appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
All right, cheers, guys.
Race control has an incident at multiple cars. And this is actually going to give George something to do right now, wouldn't it, there, Gerald? Because he's been pretty quiet most of the race.
Pretty chill, I think, for most of it.
And in that case around there, that's obviously... You wonder... It's just a race, like when somebody loses it, do you really issue a penalty for that accident causing an accident? Are they going to pit road? Yes, they are. They're all going to jump back in the pit road again. Now, this will be interesting if anybody likes to stay out. And it looks like Sylvia has. Haken has stayed out. So Haken Gravstad now is our race leader. And that is going to be interesting because he gets out to hold off for 20-something laps. I would imagine about 20 laps we'll have left after the green flag. And that means he could take the race win. But the thing is, Kevin Burrell's in P3. He would probably like him to be a little bit further down. Kevin's in P4 now. You can see just getting out behind. Is it how do I pronounce his name? Alaric? Alaric. There it is. Sorry, Alaric. I think I've got your name wrong all season long. Maybe I'll get it right for the last race. But once he's got 10 positions gained, he was obviously at this point leading that race, and that was interesting, wasn't it? After that race restart, the last safety car just zoomed on by everybody. Like I haven't seen that pace. He surprised himself on that. I love the livery. It's very elegant. Kind of like he's kind of like you're dressing the car up for a like a what do you call it, black tie event, formal event, like a suit. Where does my imagination come from? So Gerald, how you been finding this race so far for the penultimate race of the season?
Well, it's been closer than all our other ovals so far, which has made it incredibly entertaining, I think, to watch. You know, there's been action all the way through. We haven't slipped into that lull that you often get sort of in the middle third of the race. And I think that's partially thanks to the safety cars bunching everybody up again.
And it's good that we're having the safety cars paced out now as well too, so we're getting a good chunk of laps in. A good racing rather than just like we've seen before in the past, as you mentioned. Anyway, we go green flag racing again. Then this time around, Haken Gravstad now is leading the race.
And this could be really important now for Haken. 20 laps left. If he stays there, and Kevin Burrell stays in P4 where he is, Haken's got a really good chance of snatching this championship away.
Absolutely. He knows it too. I'm sure he's just sitting there right now completely concentrating, knowing for a fact his heart rate would be through the roof. With that fact that, yes, taking crucial points away from your championship contender and obviously all he could do from here is just win. He can't go any further up. And you know, Kevin Stam and Kevin, so the Kevin battle, of course, is going to be brewing between those drivers. We know that for a fact that Kevin Stam has multiple times this season always been side by side, hasn't he, with Kevin Burrell?
Yeah, especially on these ovals. And Kevin Burrell seems to be struggling again. He's dropped back. Not quite sure what he's up to.
Yeah, Kevin Stam's just gone past, and he's under a bit of pressure right now from our rookie of Oscar. This is very interesting. This is not a place at a time that Kevin needs to be dropping positions, knowing that his championship contender is in the lead of this race.
Oh, Hakon might have made a mistake there, I think.
He's under massive attack right now there from Sylvia. Sylvie, yeah. And, oh, you know, Hakon's going to do whatever he can. Do you think at the moment he's even worried or even concerned about where Kevin is in this race, or he's just completely focused on his?
I mean, I'd imagine that he's completely focused forward. I think he probably knows that Kevin's so far back. Not so far back, not that far back, but he's far back enough that it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't, even if I was an engineer, I wouldn't be telling the drivers at the moment any of that, because we want to just completely focus on these corners. We've seen all the drivers here this evening make little bits of mistakes, some of them, of course, and fantastic, even better to keep them out of the fence when they have. And he's got to just hold them off. 19 laps at the moment, isn't it? When you're leading a race like this, aren't you just sitting back and just counting those laps, like wishing that those laps just click down quicker and quicker and quicker?
You're checking that lap counter every single lap. You're hoping that the guy behind doesn't get a good run, because it's impossible, really, once they get a good run, for you to start lap.
And obviously the crucial time to be defending more than anything is in about 18 laps. So at this point, he's gonna defend here and just stay there. I don't think he needs to be unnecessarily moving around there or going super aggressive on the defense just yet, of course, because you have to wait that 18 or so laps later to then start thinking about being super aggressive, because you don't want to be, leading all these laps right now and then all of a sudden on that last lap get overtaken to lose the race win. That's the one that you don't want. Ooh, in the background, Mr. Alec there and Oscar were coming pretty close together. Almost looked like they were close to making contact, but they haven't. Kevin stand up at a P2.
Oh,
look at that. Well, that was very, very tight as he was trying to get back.
No, yellow, I think.
No, I think we're green. We're still green.
What just happened then?
There's a crash, but it's green. I think that's his contact. That's Alec and Benoit? Benoit's on the outside, so something's happened here. I think he might have gone deep on the outside here, and Benoit's there, and they've contacted. Bang.
Oh, very surprised. Yeah. That's not a yellow, but they kept it off center track, which probably why it didn't trigger it.
It's got carbon fiber on the track, but there it is. They're under investigation for sure. That would be one for keeping George. And Haken loses out to second place at the moment. He's just lost that position there to Kevin, the Flying Dutchman. He may be under pressure to lose another one here as well.
Yeah, it's gonna.
So Kevin's just committed this around the outside and just hit the gas pedal and gone. Very lucky not to the rear sliding out there too. And look at that, managed to keep it way away from the wall. And now Benoit's into the pit lane. Of course, he had to get those repairs done. Haken's got to defend against Sylvia now. And all of a sudden, with 16 laps to go, the race win possibilities are slipping through his fingers. And the 15 to go now. They're clicking. Kevin Burrell's just sit there in the background, kind of a little bit lonely, just ahead of Brody. And there it is. That's Haken losing another place there, dropping a P3. Now he's got to get it on. Now he did box on lap 66. So did Sylvia. So you'd think they have enough fuel. Should be no problems having enough fuel. I don't think you'd be lifting and coasting at this point, would you?
Not at this point. Especially not with the yellow.
And now there's only Oscar in between him and the championship leader. So what are we talking about? That could be like almost 20 points or something like that. And immediately gone. 14 to go. what can he do at this point, mate? If he wants to take that one, because once I think Kevin stands out in front, mate, Kevin's not an easy man to get past when he's leading a race.
The only thing he can do is put his foot down there.
Oh, I think did Kevin hit the wall? A little bit of tap coming out of that corner because he's obviously trying to hold off against Lazar. That's actually Brang now, believe it or not, arcing back into play there, that little bit of a tangle, and Hunker's going to look in the background there for Oscar, the Swede. But I think Kevin had a little bit of contact to the wall, the rear right. For now, I can't do anything about it, and Arkin could have just lost that place to Oscar. Oscar's obviously definitely have to be one of the drivers of the day, because being a rookie, he's gained 13, 12 positions. There still hasn't secured the deal just yet, but definitely gaining a lot of positions in this race is great for his rookie race. But Kevin, you getting any damage? Because, I mean, Kevin's lost that second place. He's dropped to drop back to P2, but maybe if he is nursing a bit of damage, we'll see in a minute. We wouldn't mind going on board with one of the drivers maybe in a second. We'll see. We'll just see. Here's Harkin on the outside. There's Oscar on the inside. Oscar's going to have to tuck in behind or here, right there, and then commit to this. We're down to about 12 laps to go. He's going to go pretty quickly. He's going to take the inside line there, but Harkin's going to just stick to this, knowing he's going to have the better exit speed. Gets a little tiny swirly on the rear. As Kevin stand up there in the P2, you can see, and Sylvia leading this race, apparently in P1. There's Oscar holding up. That's Brody. His debut race behind him. Brody's straight through. Wow, that sensation is amazing. Brody, I was about to say, started in the same position where he on that race. And, well, he's game one now, so he's up to P4. Oh, right down to 11 laps to go, mate. What do you do? It doesn't think that Kevin Barrow's just sitting there comfortable or happy to just... he's got Alex Richardson, I think, behind him. That's a lap down. So Kevin's in a comfortable P6. Problem is, Karkin doesn't want to be in a P3. He needs to be in a race win here. Doesn't need to, but he's got to keep his championship hopes alive more and more. He needs a little bit more of a space between him and Kevin Barrow. Points. 10 to go. Three-way here. Oh, here we go. Second time we've seen the three-way into a corner, but there you go. They've elected to lift. That's Brody now. Brody's just come alive, hasn't he, now in this race?
Absolutely. He's going for it.
Brody's like, all right, well, I've been saving up. I've been sandbagging this race. Let me just get a couple of overtakes in the dying stages of the race, and that's the only time you need to do it, and he's getting it done now. And this is the thing. He's going to take one to Harkin here now. Harkin can't afford to be giving up this place anymore. That's Kevin Stam that dropped off big time now. Did you see that on the inside?
Yeah.
Kevin.
He just lost 2 places, didn't he?
Yeah.
3 places.
I saw he was right up in the apron as they went scooting past. It looked like he was coming out of pit lane or something like that, but he hadn't. I honestly think he had damage. So that accident before will be investigated after the race. But I actually think he got a little bit of damage, and I think he did contact the wall a little bit rear right, and that may have caused that problem because he went slower after that. He's probably took his eyes off the track there, off the corner for a second. I had a bitterball, I think it is, a Dutchie. That's a tasty treat. I'll have to ask him later what it's called. And here we go, Kevin Beryl now on the other Kevs, the Kevs radar. Maybe you know what it was? I think he was just missing his Kevin mate. He's like, mate, we need to get back into wheel-to-wheel racing with each other again. So we've seen that all season long. Hucking in P2. Now, this is it, 8 to go. How much of a gap is he's almost within a second there of Sylvia. And we know Brody's on a rampage, so if anything, he's got to try to keep Brody at bay. I don't think do you think he's got enough time here at the moment? There's almost a second to make up.
Yellow.
Oh, there's a caution.
This could change everything.
Whoa, big smash in the background. Look at the 2 cars. Who was that? Was that Oscar? It is Oscar, I think, and Alec. No, Kevin. It's the Kevins. Both the Kevins and Kevin Barrel's out, maybe. What's happened here? This is crucial for the championship. The Kevs have murdered each other.
Not quite so sure yet.
You have a look here. Oh, there it is. So there's
That's
yeah,
Kevin
and that's
Stam.
it. Yeah, bang. Oh no. And I do honestly think that Kevin had rear end, because that rear end was just loosey goosey, big time that one. Otherwise, his tires are just shot. And Kevin Perro, of course, nowhere to go. They are lucky that there's a couple of cars that are lap down, so it's not the end of the world that you don't have like 20 drivers in the grid. You're only going to pick up a couple of points. They'll get those repairs. How long is it going to take? Those quick repairs have all been used up, I think, haven't they?
It depends if they've used a quick repair yet. Because I've not had enough damage previously in the race to use it.
So it's been a racing incident declared. Yeah, it has been, because Kevin lost it on his own, and then unfortunately Kevin Burrell had nowhere to go. But that's a big chunk of points lost in the championship now, isn't it?
Yeah,
They're going to have to come in.
Yeah.
You got Alex lap down there, Robin lap down, Oscar's lap down, Benno a lap down, but they're going to be able to unlap themselves. And now Haken maybe like have a little bit more of a smile. It's a little bit bigger under the helmet for the Norwegian driver, knowing that his championship contender is a bit further back now in the points.
Depends if the
Kevy.
depends if the back markers can. No, okay, so they're exactly the same place. They just came out the pits in exactly the same place. They both had fast repairs, which means they haven't dropped down behind any lapped cars.
All right, so well, there it is. So that's not the worst case scenario. Was a best case scenario then for them. Now they're going to have 6 to go. Soon, pace car is going to peel in. We're only going to have a couple of laps dash. All right, Kevins, keep it clean, guys. Oh, Sylvia's gone in.
Oh,
Brody's gone in. So they were running on vapors?
Well, let's have a
You
look
wouldn't
at how
box
quick
right
this
now,
is gonna
could you?
be.
No
This-
way.
This
Huh?
is insane. So
Yeah.
they've just given both the Kevins their positions.
They have. So now we got to see Harkin Krebstab, second in the championship, have to defend against Kevin Birrell and Kevin Stam for the last dying laps of this race. This is painful, isn't it, for these other drivers that have to go on the pit lane right now?
It's going to be a 3-lap shootout.
Yeah. And are they going to get time to even catch the pace car?
That's a very good question. Let's go find out.
Because
yeah,
the pace car have to wait for the pace car has to wait for the pack to bunch up before it is allowed to go in. I'm not quite sure because
Yeah,
obviously the
I
Formula
believe it
1.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The lights
So
are
that
still on,
will-
which means it's got at least one more lap.
That does. Hopefully, we don't have to finish under a caution. Well, Harkin's probably going, yes, I'd like to finish under a caution because I'll get the race win.
So, pace car lights have gone out, which means it's this lap we're going to go live. 4-lap shootout now then.
Yep, they've all bunched up, so definitely. Here he goes. So the Norwegian driver needs to right now. Where's Brody just making...
Sylvia
what's
and Brody managed to
doing?
come out in front of Kevin and both the Kevins.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting.
Even better then now for Harkin because Kevin's in P5. Harkin's in the race win here, potentially. With 5 to go. It'll essentially be 4 to go once they cross that line. The pace car comes in and Barney gets to wave flags at him again.
So, sat on board Brody. I'm going to look in front and behind him as we travel now, just to see the action all around.
Could you imagine the heart rate right now
Yeah.
on Grabstab? I'm sure it's going to be beating about a 10,000 RPM at least. Because now he has to
go.
loud pedal.
Green.
5 to go.
Back on trying to break that slipstream. Sylvia looks like he got a fantastic run there.
He did. It's going to be putting pressure already, I'd have to say, into this turn. He has. They are going to go side by side.
Sylvia got the lead there. Let's go back on to Grebstad for a moment.
Yeah, but Grebstad knows that the fact that he has to get this race win. He can't afford to give this one up. And I'll tell you what, the Flying Frenchman as well is going to try to deny him that any day of the week. And I wouldn't be surprised for Brody's pace at the moment if he doesn't come into play here and steal a victory away from both of them.
we forgot to account for as well. There is lots of back markers between Kevin, Sam, and Kevin, Brody and Kevin.
Very interesting. Yeah, you can see that background. Here we go. Getting down to 3 to go. Whoa, here we go. I told you Brody was going to put up a fight here as well. Hucken has to hold on here. He's had to turn this car into a British bus. Just make it as wide as possible. Just to hold off for a couple more laps. I don't think he's going to take that race win now. You can see this flying Frenchman's just far too quick. He's got to be trying to defend Brody for everything he's got.
That's 2 to go.
Oh, the problem too of Hucken, man, is that he boxed on lap 66. These guys boxed on lap 95, so he may be very much fuel coasting here, or close to it.
Well, it'll be the tyres as well, if they took tyres.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they did take tyres because the length time they boxed for, but...
He's now dropped back into P3, and he's got... at least his back marker's behind him, of course, so it's not a problem. He's got a big gap back to Kevin Stab, so I don't think it's going to be a problem there. He's got a podium, because there was a bit of a contact in the wall, too, from the back marker, but it's green.
Yeah, that'd be disastrous right now, getting a yellow for these guys. Especially since Brody and Sylvia seem to still be having something going on here. There's a white flag, last lap.
Yep. Can Brody take his maiden win here for the first time this season, jumping into the car? I'm sure he'd like to, but Sylvia Lazar there, the French driver, is going to really try to deny him.
So I saw his rear end step out there. I thought he was a goner.
Kevin Stam now, because of that other back marker, just got a little bit of moment. Kevin's now on the tailpipe really big there.
Brody's getting so close. It's going to be side by side to the finish line.
It could very much be. Just one more corner to go. One big wide corner. Can he get an exit speed? No, he can't. And Sylvia's going to hold it off and get the race win. Takes it in the USA.
Close. Something happened.
Kevin Stam got Hucken. Hucken's always crashed out. Hucken's now dropped up P5 behind them.
No.
What has happened? From P3 now into P5. And now behind the championship leader. What has happened? This must have been those tyres or something you said, isn't it? He's sliding now, look. There.
Yeah,
holding it as much
is
as he
letting
can.
Go. His rear end's really letting go. Oh!
Ooh, net code? No, that's contact, maybe.
Touched by Kevin right there.
Oh, and now look at that. He's got, look at the line. He's like, I just come on and reach, just push the car to the line. He'd slide across the line. Oh, that's got... You're so close to seeing the line, aren't you, the racing line, and then you're just inches away from it, and...
Yeah.
Wow. That's definitely one for the race stewards, for sure.
Yeah, well, it's going to be investigated after the race.
Well, all of a sudden, George has a ton of work to do in the last couple of laps.
Now.
Yeah. He's like, damn, I wanted to have a lay down. But now he's going to have to spend about 10 minutes or so going through all these race reports and at the end there. Wesley's in here at the moment.
Ah.
Hello, Wesley. I thought we changed the combination on the casting box. But Wesley's like, I programmed the combination on the casting box. How you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm good. You? Hello.
What, sorry?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, mate. Yeah. So did you catch the action at the end
Oh,
of
I
that race?
did. Yeah, very much so.
So what did you think about that collision there between Kevin and Hucken? Do you think it kind of looked... Let's see if we can maybe see a replay again soon of it, but we got to wait for those race results to come up. The unofficial race results, of course, because maybe there might be some changes with these post-race incidents being investigated. For now, you'd have to say it's definitely like, Sylvia, Lazar, and Brody have definitely secured those positions. They weren't involved in any of those incidents. Kevin Stam, of course, would still be looking at that podium. But the big thing, of course, is Kevin now has the lead advantage there on Hucken Grovestab there on the points. Not as massive, but a few more points that should have been really hot, and Hucken should have been the other way around, stealing some more of those points away from him. if you want to go through those results for us there, please. You can do it there, bro. Well, not Brody. Wes, you can do that for us if you like.
I don't know anybody's name, so
No.
who's who?
That's all right. Fuck it. I'll do it.
Get rid
Oh,
of
right.
I got the. Yep.
So, P1, we've got Sylvia Lazar in P2, Brody Maynard, who is currently sat with us waiting for an interview. P3, got Kevin Stam. P4, Kevin Birrell. P5, Hakon Grebstad. P6, Alex Richardson. P7, Robin Duhamel. P8, Oscar Fredrickson. P9, Benoit Favre. P10, Alaric Vandenbos. P11, Frankie Franchicha. P12, Eric Lombard. That's a cool last name. P13, Kane Ledger. P14, Paolo Lopez. P15, Matteo Limere. And P16 is Jasper Eriksson.
Well, welcome to IndyCar, Brody. Good job. Gained 3 positions there for your rookie drive here, and almost looking like you snatch a race win towards the end there, but just slipped through your fingers. But still, how was that race for you, mate?
It started off quite settled, quite chill. I just thought I'd ride around, see what the pace was like. But coming towards the end there, the last 5 laps, that unfortunate collision between Kevin and Hakon, I think. Or was it Kevin and Kevin?
No, it was Kevin first time, and then and then Hakon. Well, yeah.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for them, but it allowed me to stick on a fresh set of boots and go and challenge for the win against Sylvia.
That was the thing about the boots. So you guys were putting fresh boots on. You boxed on lap 95.
Yeah.
Which was a gamble. We kind of thought, what was going on with you guys? Like, why are you coming in that late into the race? But obviously that paid off.
Yeah, I had a hint he was going to come with fresh tyres, and if I stayed out, he would have been the only one on fresh tyres, which would have given him a guaranteed win. But I thought, screw it, why not? Put fresh set tyres on, see what happens, and almost got me P1 there. But I think that was probably one of the best drives I've ever had. Definitely the most intense battle. But yeah, congratulations to Sylvia on his win.
IndyCar drive all season?
Second, I believe. I think I did the opener, Indy Road.
Oh, okay. There you go. So you're back, and you're back with a vengeance, for sure.
Yeah,
I believe we got information in the chat there from Andy saying, in case we didn't see it, that Kevin Stam was demoted to P5 post-race from that penalty.
Oh, really? Oh.
So that means now that Kevin Burrow will take P4 and Hakon will take P5. And do your mathematics and crunch the numbers on that. But we still know that Kevin Burrow will be leading the championship.
Interesting. But yeah, congrats on to everyone who had a solid race today. Very, very good competition.
Absolutely. Thank you, and well done there once again for the 19 car getting 3 positions. I'm not quite sure if we get to speak to the French driver of Sylvain Lazare for his race win. Yes, we do. Speaking of the French driver, is that Cappuccino? What was your nickname there on the Discord?
You can say Cappuccino, and hi everyone.
Hello. Congratulations on the race win. 7 positions gained, mate. You had some severe pace at the end there.
Yeah, thanks very much. I've been saving fuel so much during this race. You never know if you have the pace when you start saving. So I'm really glad I still had it.
And it was an amazing, wasn't it? Your teammate, of course.
Yeah, Benoit actually.
Benoit, isn't it? No, you were the one that actually crashed, wasn't it?
I spun. I lost it at the
spun.
corner once, but I didn't crash. I just managed to stop the car.
Yeah, we saw that. That was amazing. One
Yeah,
of the best saves you could possibly do, isn't it? Like, kept it out of the wall on the outside, and then almost got into the pit lane wall.
I won't lie, that was a cut brown.
Yeah. Oh, it was definitely one for the highlight reel for that. We all thought that was just amazing, and then of course you had the reverse back up there, and then it was, and of course and then the pace car I think came out or something, and then all of a sudden, bang, you were back in P3. Just very, very lucky, I think, with all that.
Yeah, but
and also your teammate almost just barely scraped you. You could have destroyed both the cars.
To be fair with you, the plan was to put Benoit in front because he is playing for the championship, I'm not. So anything was saving fuel and trying to help him to save fuel as well. But unfortunately, he had some issues and he crashed. So yeah, that was all me. And I won't lie. The last pit stop and stuff really reminded me the Abu Dhabi of last year. But being a Hamilton fan, I didn't feel so comfortable of being in place of Verstappen.
Yeah, and you had to make that executive decision, obviously, at that point, leading the race there and having to go into the pit road.
I was blind.
take
I
the
didn't
gamble.
know if both guys, Kevin. I thought they had a drop to end because for me they pitted during the closed line. So this is why I took the decision to pit because I was thinking to pass them because dropped to the end. But I wasn't sure, so it was really just after I exit pitted, I was checking for seeing if I could pass them or not. But I was right, and I could pass them. So fresh tire against Akon.
And how much stress would you have right towards the end there, where Brody was charging through the field too for now? Are you confident you could hold him off there for a couple more laps to get the win?
Honestly, the only person which really threatened me was the P2 because here I had fresh tires as well. I wasn't really stressed about Akon because his tires were really old, but I wasn't sure to resist against our P2, so I'm glad I made it. It was really close, as you saw on the rankings.
Yes. And fun. Very
Really
good,
fun,
action-packed,
yeah.
exciting race. Yeah, where most people were involved in some sort of incident or collision. So pit stops were very difficult with those pace cars that we had. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we had about 7 or so pace cars and change, something like that.
Yeah, quite a lot of safety cars, and didn't help me because I was saving fuel. So anytime you have a pace car, right, anything you saved is wasted because anyone can pit. So yeah, it didn't really help me, but at the end I managed to sort it out. So I'm glad.
Excellent. And Andy out there in the chat was giving us, thank you very much, Andy, in the chat, because you were giving us information too about from a driver perspective of when the pit stops were occurring. But as he said too, once that pace car comes out, it kind of throws that strategy out the wall there of instead of two stopper or something like that. But good on you, mate. Vive la France.
Yeah, merci beaucoup. Merci, thanks a lot for the interview.
Thank
And
you.
big thanks to my team, obviously, and all the support they gave us to prepare this race on the Monday. And just the last word again regarding the ISR, Anti-Star Racing. They made a dramatic job during this season. A really pleasant league to race on. So thank very much to them.
Thank you. I believe you're also sponsored by Thrustmaster or something on the side of your car.
Yeah, thanks to Trustmaster for the support as well.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I don't even have a Thrustmaster. I have something else. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, good on you.
Thank you.
And one last question for you. Going in now, heading on this momentum, going into Road America for the last race. How you feel?
I love this track, so hopefully anything is as nice as here. But to be fair with you, I'm usually a bit faster on oval than road, so yeah, maybe next week won't be the same issue, but you never know.
Yeah, you help your teammate out too, and that championship hunt together for those positions is crucial as you're trying to do tonight. But unfortunately,
yeah, definitely,
you couldn't. Well, you wouldn't want to lift off P1 there and allow everybody through. So it is. Congratulations. Go celebrate with your team down in pit road.
Yeah, thanks for all, and see you next one.
So yeah, I wonder if we can pull in because apparently we can have both the Kevins here because I'm interested to listen to Kevin Stam if he wants to chat to us, and of course Kevin
he's
Burrell.
already refused.
Oh, he has refused. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's on his contract that you are mandatory required. Otherwise, your points are forfeited if you don't have an interview. That's the rules that I'm making up for next season. No. What about Kevin Burrell?
Well, he is now.
He should have been, if he's promoted to P3,
Yeah,
that's
he is
podium,
promoted
and
to
that's going to be
P3.
very interesting to hear from our championship leader. I wouldn't actually mind speaking to Harkin Grevstad as well, too, if they are cool, calm, and collective to have a chat, because he was putting in a very good fight leading the race, of course, at certain points, and that alternative strategy of those tyres started punishing him towards the end. Kevin Burrell, well, what a exciting race, mate. So you obviously put the car on pole and got it done, and then all over the place, many incidents and events. How was that for you?
Hey. Hold on. Sorry, one sec. I think Is everything working? Sorry, I like
Yep.
had my
Copy,
the
we
stream
got
up.
you.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. My apologies, a bit all over the place. I was chatting in the server. Yeah, that was something, huh? Oh boy. Well,
Yeah, it was
just
it. Now,
one.
this is interesting. I'm going to ask you from the start. Now, you put the car on pole, so you had the pace. And then, as Andy was saying out there, we suspected, because you dropped a lot of those places pretty early, and there
Yeah,
was a suspicion of fuel saving.
well,
Was that right?
there was some of that. Yeah, I mean, there was a bit of that, and also the way it was today was actually I worked. So basically, I've been participating in the Open Wheels 500, which is a big like community Indy 500 thing that's going on Race Spot. And the qualifying was on Saturday and Sunday, and then the actual race is next Saturday, and that's like I think the strength of field, if you were to like add it all up, the strength of field for that race is something along the lines of like 5,000 or like 5,500. It's pretty absurd for like
Wow.
an Indy race. So I've been putting a lot of effort into the open set for that, and I mean that's a brutal. It's an unbelievably brutal race. So all my effort since the last. Obviously I put a ton of effort into the sets each week for this and IIS in the past when that was going on. But the since the last week when I knew I got up 48 points, I think it was 48 anyway on Hakon. I kind of let's not say I phoned it in, but I knew that if I could qual up front, get the qual point, then basically stay out of trouble in this race and just sort of bank on things going okay, and hope that my race set was enough to kind of let me sort of maybe chill and take a decent fuel saving opportunity if one came up. So I kind of just worked off of basically like a shop setup that I thought was gonna be okay. Honestly, it seemed fine to me in testing. As I found out pretty quickly in the race, it was not. There's not a whole lot more to say than it was not. I really, really struggled to just a horrible understeer everywhere. Went up on the weight jacker. Didn't really do much of anything other than make the car drive unpredictably at turn 2. And when I started seeing people snap oversteer throughout the race, that just scared me even more. And obviously my goal here today was to just, first of all, get to the finish line. Because with the advantage over Hakon at this point, it was like, well, if I can come into the final race of the season, even 20, 30 points up, Road America is usually a pretty good track for me. And, I just wanted to preserve as much of that lead as possible without really risking it all, with something like a DNF. So I just tried to avoid any chaos. I mean, I really hoped I could hold on to a bit more than I did today. I'm sure you saw me just bailing out of things over and over and over. And I didn't want to fight. Sometimes there's times when you can fight and you want to hold your own. And today was not one of them for me. It sucks when you show up and your set is just not there. And yeah, that was me today, just feeling abysmal. It's actually I watched a Romain Grosjean video the other day where he said something about at a super speedway in IndyCar where he said or was it like Texas? He said at the super speedway race when you go to those if you have a good setup, if your car is fast and you have a good set, you feel like you're on top of the world. And if you don't, well, it's a very long day. Today was a very long day for me. I made a really good qual set, and it felt awesome. I was flat the whole way. The car felt perfect. I mean, I used every inch of the track. It felt really good. But obviously, you're not using ultra low downforce, low wicker, kill you in traffic instantly setups for the race, and yeah, despite throwing on all the extra downforce I could and everything, I just couldn't cut through traffic and just got aero washed to hell. And it's what it is. It's unfortunate, and I think Kevin, Silviu, Hakon, Benoit, I mean, everybody. It really felt like everybody in the race was just, slicing through me. And, when you just see yourself going backwards at that point, you have to take the high percentage decision and just park it up as much as you can. Try and only make the moves that you know for sure will stick. And that's what I tried to do. There was a chance for a fuel save a little bit. I forget when it was, right? There was a point where I knew everyone was going to have to take about 90 liters of fuel on, and I had most people were going to have to take 90 liters, and I only had 68, which means, I'd make a one stop and they'd had to do two. But then I think it was either Sylvie or Benoit spun right at the moment that would have locked in the one stop versus the two. And, that kind of put an end to that. So, it is what it is, but that's what happens when you bank on the fuel save. So,
excellent. Well, thank you very much. And that you'll be promoted up to P3, I believe, because of that post-race penalty. So
yeah,
so
I
slow
heard.
And steady wins the race, mate. And it certainly did today, even though you weren't slow during the qualifying. And then, obviously, there was a little bit of a gut-wrenching moment, isn't it, when you see Haken leading this race, and then all of a sudden Kevin crashes and you're on the back of him crashing as an unfortunate victim. But obviously everything came into play, of course, with that recent incident. And that means Haken finishes behind you and you got more points and comfortable going into Road America. You said you're confident about and probably have a little bit more time to practice.
Yeah. I'm going to be, I will dial that in. And, now at this point I'll be, well, first of all, open wheels will be over, but I already feel pretty good about my Road America set, and I'll be spending some time dialing it in even further. And, that's a solid track. I mean, IIS, the IndyCar iRacing Series doesn't go to Pocono, so it's an oval that, well, first of all, it just scares
me. It's a triangle.
Yeah, it's a triangle. It's a cursed Dorito. Yeah. It scares me a lot. It's like Indy, but the walls come at you a lot faster, and they just, something about it. It really feels like it's PvP, man. It's just like aggression.
Yeah.
Like everything about this track is like when you make a move on someone, you are either banking on them backing out or you are going into the wall. And it's fun to race on, I guess, but it's really the real problem is just that when something goes wrong there, someone is getting caught in it for sure. And yeah, I mean, I guess that happened to me today.
A few people did today, mate. We're going to have to wrap it up, of course. It's getting late, but a few people did today. But you're going to be looking good going into the next race, of course. It'll be our final race of the season. Congratulations. Thank you for a podium and a chunk of it. So that was Kevin Burrell finishing P3, leading the championship. Exactly. You too, mate. So that's it from us. Of course, here this evening, we had Will earlier, of course, putting on the broadcast and had to get back to work. Will, from his taking his time to commentate during a lunch break is pretty, perhaps to go show the dedication he has to any store racing. And of course, Gerald, our fantastic producer, mate, I'll leave it over to you to wrap up the racing.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I think it's been an absolutely fantastic race today. Lots and lots of action all the way around. In my opinion, probably one of the most entertaining races of the season so far. And I say so far, we've got one left, which will be at the same time next Monday. Tomorrow we've got touring car Tuesdays, same time. We'll have 2 races of the touring cars. And then on Friday, we have our very last IMSA race of the season. And from what I remember the standings for that one, everything's very, very close and anything can happen. So yeah, make sure you tune into all of those. We've been Antisol Racing, hosting some IndyCar tonight. And we'll be back tomorrow night with touring car. Hope to see you all there, and we'll see you next time.
I can wait another minute. I can wait another second to be with you for an eternity. I feel like I am in a daydream. Every moment that I spend with you.
Won't you take me home and give me wings to fly? We can be alone in the castle in the sky. We can